blessing, never living a lie. So we keep our meditation in the eye. We weather the storm and put up a fight, 'cause we can do anything. Should you feel like giving up, let the strength of your ancestors fill your cup. The power of Jah preserves I and guides in all that good. So evil that may be harm, can go back where they came from. No demonic words will form shall prosper, yeah. Until the older and the science one come, 'cause them can't squeeze the lion bar. No demonic words will form shall prosper. The wages of blessing, never living a lie. So we keep our meditation in the eye. We weather the storm and put up a fight, 'cause we can do anything. Should you feel like giving up, let the strength of your ancestors fill your cup. The power of Jah preserves I and guides in all that good. So evil that may be harm, can go back where they came from. No demonic words will form shall prosper, yeah. Until the older and the science one come, 'cause them can't squeeze the lion bar. No demonic words will form shall prosper. The wages of blessing, never living a lie. So we keep our meditation in the eye. We weather the storm and put up a fight, 'cause we can do anything. Should you feel like giving up, let the strength of your ancestors fill your cup. The power of Jah preserves I and guides in all that good. So evil that may be harm, can go back where they came from. No demonic words will form shall prosper, yeah. Until the older and the science one come, 'cause them can't squeeze the lion bar. No demonic words will form shall prosper.
Hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to those in television land. Happy Tuesday to our silent supporters. Happy Tuesday to those in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope everyone is having a wonderful and blessed week so far. Guys, please remember, thumbs up the live when you come in. Share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. Tonight's topic is, are these premeditated and calculated crimes? Asking a question. And of course, your host, Baron and Anne-Marie. Let me just welcome those in the chat. Youngs, Natalia Freeman, Beverly, Donmel, Howard Shaw, Trucklife, Unique Ray, Leighton Brown, Louis Longshore, Doris McCoy, Alma Allen, Donmel, Universal, Rennie Swaby, Noreen McLean, Isaac's family, Anthony R., Barbara Finley, Montague James, welcome. Thank you guys again for tuning in. And I see that we had another earthquake today that was felt in one area of the island. I think I heard it was a 4.7, and then there was one on Friday. So, these are signs that we have to pay attention to
over time.
And hope everyone is taking precautions, know what they should do in the event of a, big earthquake, what they should do. If you don't, then you need to go and look up what you should do to safeguard yourself in the event of a big earthquake, because the tremors are getting more and more frequent. So we need to pay attention as to what is going on, because we had similar occurrence in Haiti and we're not too far off from there. So So again, make sure you take the necessary precautions. Carol Hewitt, welcome. Paulette Robinson, welcome. Thank you. Anyone felt the earthquake today? Anyone that was in the vicinity? Okay, Clifford Vogel, welcome, welcome. I guess no one, we're in the island, was it felt? I think I heard somewhere in the Rockabessa end or something like that.
All right.
John Scott, I just heard just maybe an hour and a half ago, I was going through and I saw it on TVG clippings there. Ruthling, welcome, welcome. Without any further delay, I am going to hand over to Byron.
All right.
I'll look at it again and type the location in the chat.
Thank you for that, Wifey, for that usual precursor. And I want to say big respect to our subscribers and persons who are following us. Right. Tonight we have so much red meat to speak on, and we have couple drama, couple excitement, right, that we are going to delve in, and with some little bit of controversy as well.
Port Antonio.
My apology in terms of us starting a little bit late, but it is what it is. But nevertheless, we are here to deliver the information. But let me say this, people. We have seen that the Jamaica Labour Party is panicking, is in a state of serious panic, because I guess they are acknowledging that there is no way they are going to make it through the general election. This is very, very, very serious. And we know, of course, as it relates to the series of issues that we have, struggling the Jamaica Labour Party. Number one, right, promises that they had promised, and right, they are not delivering on those promises. Coupled with that, we have series of corruption, right? We have, patterns of dictatorship coming from the hierarchy of the government, and the list goes on. Drugs involvement, right, of the Jamaica Labour Party government. Some of that we are going to go through tonight, right? And so then we are seeing that, we are in a state of, very serious affairs. But I am going to begin as it relates to get into show, comrades and, other persons, right, who are viewing in, right, as it relates to some situation that the Jamaica Labour Party is concerned with. Very serious concern. So without any delay, we're just going to hear the clip, right? And then we just get into it and just try to break it down, right? But we are seeing that the Jamaica Labour Party is panicking, and for obvious reason. One of the clips that I am going to play is that clip that is going to create the controversy, right? Not the first clip. Let me warn, not the first clip. So the first clip is how we are showing how, the Jamaica Labour Party, right, vloggers and, having gross concern, right? Because one of the things that they had spoken about is that the overwhelming load of information that, right, they don't have in comparison to us, right, speaking the truth. right? And you know that the truth matters. Good governance, checks and balance, right? And integrity. So without any delay, Bonnie, can you find that clip? The TikTok 876 Margaret overlay number 5. And let us get into it, people. We are not going to delay. Let us get into this little drama here, right? And we are going to break it down. Worrying times, right? That has the Jamaica Labour Party, right? Overlay number 5.
That's what you want.
Oh, okay.
1 second.
Yes. This is what?
Overlay number 5 is right.
Okay, I'm great. Yeah.
You want that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The following is a release from the People's National Party Media Unit.
Let me speak to the people. We have seen the incident in Crawl, and we are going to play Mark Golden response to that incident, to the Crawl issue, before we get into the video that I had spoken on. So let us hear Mark Golden response, a well-measured response as it relates to the Crawl situation. My apology for that. My bad. All right, let us play Mark Golden response where that is concerned.
The following is a release from the People's National Party Media Unit.
Jamaica is sickened by yet another depraved act of wanton violence, which in this incident at Cherry Tree Lane has been directly inflicted against 17 people, 8 of whom were killed, including several women and a young boy. There have been multiple killings in Clarendon in recent years, with this one being the most egregious. I stand ready to cooperate with the government to achieve bipartisan constitutional action to come to grips with this utterly untenable situation. The only way forward is for us to work together and to find consensus around practical solutions that can make the change that Jamaica needs.
Visit our website at pnp.org.jm or check us out on Facebook at Jamaica PNP.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Mark Golden's response to the situation, right? Well measured and well balanced. Willing to work, of course, with the government, right? As the opposition willing to work with the government as it relates to find ways and means in solving, right, the crime situation. The crime situation, obviously, right, is getting out of hand. The government has no form of, strategy, no form of policies, right, as it relates to containing the crime. Under the Jamaica Labour Party, of course, we have seen where crime being escalated under the tenure of the Jamaica Labour Party, right? Obviously, we have known that when Pusha Simpson handed over the governance to the Jamaica Labour Party, and where you have the crime situation was 1,208, right? Under the tenure of the Jamaica Labour Party, right, where the facts established, they have never, ever, ever able to get it down to 1,208. And they have been struggling since, right, under Andrew Holness led government as it relates to its strategies and policies. We also have seen crime that escalated to 1,600 and odd, right, under Andrew Holness governance. So it's spelled bad to show you that obviously there is no policy, there is no strategy. And the only thing that he's depending on is the SOE, right, that is not making much of a difference in comparison to the People's National Party. When they were dealing with crime, they had never utilized the SOE, you understand, as a strategy to fight crime, and deal without the utilization of the SOE under the People's National Party. We have seen that crime, right, in comparison to the Jamaica Labour Party, right, is well below, right, what we are seeing with the Jamaica Labour Party. Under Pusha Simpson-led government, it has never touched 1,300, but we have seen the escalation, right, under Andrew Holness-led government up to 1,600. So obviously, we know that the Jamaica Labour Party, right, is struggling, right? Horace Chang totally doesn't have a clue of what he's doing. So that is it. Now let us get into some excitement here tonight. Right, that clip that we're talking about here. Can you play that clip? All right. Let us get in some excitement here.
Let's remind some of these MP. We don't have in the back of my head already now. And the councillors, this will not be an Andrew Holness election like 2020 because everybody flew an Andrew Holness ticket 2020. This is every single individual MP election that come up next year. So them get knocked because if we should be honest as the labor rights, and enough of them JLP MP and not do what them supposed to do, just like enough of them.
If you see a girl named Philippian, I fight for this. Info, I fight for this. Truck, I fight for this. Chopper, I fight for this. All the black of them, I fight for this. We alone can't do it. My man from England, see, I fight for this. They put up in family and in picnic. He still a fight for this. We not nobody come defend me, brother. We alone have spread the message. Them have more information more than we. They will pass to the light of my talk. The friends will come for the light of my talk to the black of them. Like how Mark will go for the light of my talk to him, black of them, brother.
So, brother,
you see the man just keep back and feel say, yo, I'm in name Andrew Holness. I'm in name Andrew Rose and we can't get this. You know, real separate classic of 5 feet. See, what? Yo, this, yo, John, yo, this hurt me to the core. My part of me love. I mean, listen, me a labor right tell me dead, me come to West Kingston, I mean, never be a labor right. But still, me see fuck crap go on, me go talk it out and call it out how it is, brother. See, the party too lame, brother. You see me, I say, it's too lame, and the Andrew Holness, might give PLP too much other in big man. And I say, we're going to sorry in a long black time, because 2 hours of my checking it, I must win. You see me, I say, and if I say no, keep on this thing going, I'll be saying, can't touch the road next year, I'll be in the custom, and Andrew no more. See, and the people tell you we have people in Jamaica and kick back in us and nothing better. See, I go there hit back a long time, brother. When they come the Monday, see, I go come the Tuesday. You see me, I deal it? I saw me know me Eddie stay, and you keep back in us and nothing. Because you can break to, yo, Jamaica people use the taxation. Jamaica people use the free tax, they use the PMP tax them, and that they love. You see me, I say? So now change the country, tell us you change the country, brother. You never just keep back in us and nothing. Go out the head, no man, them. The people want your poor.
All right. People, here you go in terms of the panicking that being happening there, right? But let me say this. You know, I am going to play, right, a next clip. And honestly, that clip that I'm going to play, it's going to be very serious for the Jamaica Labour Party as it relates to the influence. The influence, you are looking on the influence. Now, the situation as it is, that without that influence, the People's National Party is still powerful, right? And definitely dealing with the Jamaica Labour Party as it relates to Jamaica Labour Party imploding in the poll. Now, without that influence, as I said, the People's National Party, right, is totally going to conquer the Jamaica Labour Party because the work already done. The clip that I'm going to play is going to cause controversy, right? But this is very serious for the Jamaica Labour Party. And they know it. They know it. That this influence is really, really, really very serious, and it's going to be a detriment also to them. And even without this influence, the People's National Party, right, on the way to victory, even without this influence. So let us get the Jamaica Scotch bonnet and show them why they need to worry and why they need to fret. Now let us get into that.
One sec. This one.
Because the Vibes Cartel confirms that he is a PNP and he grew up in a PNP area, PNP home, and him love the color orange. And according to what Vibes Cartel is saying, if you can read between the lines, Vibes Cartel, I'm going to know say, a man get him out and him ready to represent the People's National Party. And he also said he ready to represent St. Catherine South. So Mark Golden, you're ready to give Adija Palmer a seat in the PNP? Because I sure win this in Mark Golden. Me can guarantee you say a clean sweep, a sure win, The man say if you're ready to give him a seat, him ready to work with you, Marky British. Well, listen about the interview. Cartel ready to run for MP, for PNP. Cartel not like a bone in a JLP. Him confirm upon the interview, say a labor right send him a prison and him not in a nothing with them. So Marky British, you ready to give Adija Palmer, aka World Boss, aka Vibes Cartel, a seat? Because the man ready to run for PNP. People, make me ask a question. Would you vote for Vibes Cartel if Vibes Cartel are run for MP? Would you vote for Vibes Cartel if Vibes Cartel are run for MP? The man make them no plain and straight say the reason why I'm come out in them orange is that time forward. Him say I'm not dealing with the time come thing. So Mark Golden need to change the slogan. So Mark Golden, Vibes Cartel say to change the slogan, because I'm not in the come thing, him in the forward thing. So forward him go. You understand what I say? So Mark Golden fix up the slogan so Vibes Cartel can endorse the slogan the real way. As soon as I fix the slogan, I'm ready to dash it out there to the people. So fix the slogan, Mark Golden. The man say, a time forward and no time come. Vibes Cartel ready to run for MP for the People's National Party. And now, labor rank, I go drop down. Watch your wire. Big up yourself, Adija Palmer, aka Vibes Cartel, aka World Boss. People, reshare the video. Share.
All right. Now, people, now you hear what the man say. Now, Sister Mar,
Well,
please grease the stage before we get into the Vibes Cartel situation here. We want to say a big welcome, Sister Maria, to the program. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you always, my brother. My sister, what go on?
All
you
right.
look good in the evening here. You don't look tired at all. And to everybody in the chat, a blessed Tuesday evening. We are here again because accountability matters, good governance matters, and transparency matters. And no matter what anybody wants to say, that is all we're about. Everything else is fluff.
Exactly. Now, so
Yeah.
Sister Maria, you have been that vlogger there speaking as it relates to Vibes Cartel influence. What do you think as it relates to what you have just heard?
Out of evil come forth good. And here's the reason I say that. What he went through, everybody has a right. And it doesn't matter what they do, whatever situations, first circumstances they might find themselves in. They have a constitutional right to due process. You cannot violate that right. His rights were violated, and had it not been for his rights being violated, and him having, that is Cartel I'm talking, and him having the wherewithal to go all the way to the Privy Council in England, we would not have known that the DPP then, Paula Llewellyn, has used, per her own words, tainted juries on previous cases.
Yes.
So out of this, while there's a family who now has no closure because they have to deal with, okay, so is the police investigating the case to find out who caused harm to this young man who is deceased. So a family is left with with open-ended questions, no answers. However, this particular situation that happened to Adidja Palmer is part of a broader conversation about the injustices facing people in Jamaica in the justice system, not rich people, DJs, dancehall people, poor people's picnic, those kinds of people. Uptown people don't face these kinds of situations. Uptown
Yes.
people do anything. Members of the political directorate do anything. Members of the business class do anything. The worst possible crimes they commit. And they get
Yes.
away with it because the laws do not apply equally across the board to them. There's no equal justice under law for rich people, only poor people.
Yes.
So what happened to cartel had happened and is now shining a light on the amount of injustices that poor people face. Now, I'm going to come to the question that you asked me about what you said about running for public office. But the persons that the DPP, the then DPP, Paula Lulin said that, oh, yeah, she has used tainted jurors before. What's going to happen to those cases? Is there any way that there can be an investigation into these cases, that such persons were found guilty, even though they might be very well innocent? So they're sitting in prison innocently because of Paula Lulin. And how can she be held accountable for this miscarriage of justice? Because she needs to be held accountable for it. She needs to be
Yeah.
held accountable the same way she was willing to hold cartel accountable, the same way she has held other people's children accountable, even though they might be wrong. Even though they might be wrong, she violated their rights. They might be innocent, she violated their rights. So she needs to be held accountable, and some level of justice must be done to right that wrong in some way, shape, or form to help such persons. Now to the
Yes.
question of whether or not Mark Golding should allow some space for him. Me personally, I think so, and here's why. Given his experience, he is in this unique position to bring about the kind of prison reform that is needed in Jamaica because he has experienced it. So he can help lawmakers because if he goes to him getting a seat, he will win. So he becomes a member of parliament. He now has a seat in the parliament and the opportunity to say to a person like a Mark Golding, who has the mind to craft legislation, to Peter Bunting, because Peter Bunting is a spokesperson on national security. So he has
Yes.
that unique position and an opportunity now to craft the kinds of legislation that are needed to change the prison system in Jamaica, to make it rehabilitative, and to not
Yes.
make it a situation where they come out worse than they went in. Because I saw Wayne do a show yesterday, and boy, oh boy, those are the conditions that they have their fellow Jamaicans living in. They cannot go to prison and come back out the same way. They're going to come out worse. So the system in Jamaica, the judicial system, the prison, the correction system, all of that is not serving the purpose that it should, to be rehabilitative. It is making a bad situation worse. So when
Yeah.
you just imagine, say, for example, even when they use the pandemic and the curfew and they lock up all those young people. Imagine some of those same young people never had a record, never did anything wrong, walking the straight and narrow, but the curfew and they got caught up in it. And so now imagine what that has done to their psyche. And given
Yeah.
how police are now treating the people, the citizens of Jamaica, we need serious reform of the justice system, separate from the correction system, to make sure there's a rehabilitation process and that they
Yeah.
change the current physical structures, the current physical structures need to be knocked down, rebuilt. No human being should be living in those conditions.
So true. So true.
So
Right.
him being given an opportunity to do, first of all, if what I hear is true that he might go to the conference, then I'm going to move it to stadium. You understand? Because it's going to be a Micah Manley 1976 all over again.
Yes.
So I'm just telling Mark Golding, you have to go move it to stadium. You hear me, friend? Fine. And him getting that opportunity will make a huge difference for incarcerated persons and for young people in general. And anybody who has to go through the judicial system and face the courts and might be imprisoned and all of that. So it will be a good thing for the country, not only for the PNP. It will be a good thing for the PNP, but it will be better for the country because he will know he's in that position to say, listen, experience teaches wisdom. I am telling you what needs to be done to do a course correction as it relates to the prison system in Jamaica. You cannot continue the same way, doing the same thing and expect different results, then you are insane. So I think it will be a good thing. And if he can find a seat for him, I suggest that I don't care where I'm finding. I don't care where I put him. I think he'll make a difference in terms of that, for that purpose, especially for that specific purpose.
Yes.
Then if it's not, if he didn't say that and we're just speculating and say, you understand me? Because I personally didn't hear it. I don't know if you guys heard him say that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's something that ISAT would have said. I would have, if I heard that from ISAT and other, I would have, whatever. Because ISAT is close to the situation being his attorney. But if that is true, it would be good. If not, he's still in a position to advise the government on the way forward for to reform the prison system. He's in that position.
Because when you look into the prison system, the penal system as it is, I think the fundamental focus that the penal system have is crime and punishment. But if you're focusing on crime and punishment, you are going to have repeat offenders. What you need
all the time.
You need to have crime, punishment, and rehabilitation, right? And what seems to be missing from out of the Jamaica penal system is rehabilitation, right? Because we have seen that some of the people who are going to the prison, you understand, reoffend and reoffend and reoffend from, and if you look back as it relates to 10, 20 years, you understand, you have seen reoffenders. So then the situation of rehabilitation is very much critical, that they focus on, rehabilitation as it relates to just only crime and punishment. The person do the crime, you understand, the system does believe that, okay, let us punish the person without not getting to the root causes, right? Study as it relates to how, how the youths were cultured, right? Which is very important. And you will realize that the community itself, right, need to be fixed, need to be focused on as it relates to parental guidance, as it relates to community policing, as it relates to a whole restructure of the Jamaica community, particularly in volatile areas where, of course, most of the youths are charged coming from the volatile areas. So that needs to be looked into. You understand?
Yeah, but something, Mystic, as I'm listening to you, the most crucial aspect of the reform is to build the structures, the facility that can accommodate that. The current structures that they have there cannot accommodate that.
Durable.
Because they need to have those structures. They need to build some of those structures up in Beverly Hills and Barbican and those areas.
Yes.
Up in their fancy neighborhoods. They can find land. Build those things up there. Tell them what a poor people neighborhood. Take it out of the ghetto. Carry it into some of these fancy neighborhoods so they can share space with them. And so they can form and look at programs, rehabilitation programs. How do you reform the system without changing the physical infrastructure? That has to change. And they
Exactly.
also, I noticed that this government is just focused on harsher penalties and harsher this and harsher that without looking at the environment from whence
Yeah.
these young people come. Look at the environment that they are being raised in
Right.
before you come and say harsher penalties.
Yes,
Because
because
that shapes them, their community shapes them.
exactly.
What has the government put in place to address some of these problems? When you look at, as a matter of fact, the CXC results came out. They are dismal.
Look at that.
What is the government doing to address the lack of proper education in
Exactly.
the Jamaican space? What has the government been doing to address the dropout rate? Why are so many children dropping out of school? Poverty. What are they doing to address the problem of poverty? And this is the thing we need to understand. You see, poverty and crime, it benefits a few. You need to
Yes.
understand that. When the people are poor, uneducated, less educated, can't read and write, it benefits a few. So those of us who want to have an educated society know that when you have an educated society, more people become involved in the political process and in the decision making that affects their lives. But when they are poor and uneducated, then they depend on these few people year in, year out. Election in every election cycle. You can have a person sitting down there not doing anything for that constituency. What is Mike Henry still doing in Parliament? What has he done for his constituency? You see what I'm saying? We don't need politicians sitting in there 40 years. Same old story. Nothing has changed. No. So when we have an educated society, an educated voter, then they'll vote for their own interest. They'll become a part of the process. They'll be on the Parent Teachers Association. Those things are important. They'll become counselors. They'll get involved. They'll be on the Farmers Association. Their children will be involved in school, in the 4-H clubs and those things. So there has to be a serious investment in education, in poverty alleviation programs, so we don't have this high crime rate in Jamaica.
There you go. There you go. So we are no more in doubt as it relates to, what was Vibes Cartel saying, leaving prison and wearing that orange thing. Seems like he was making a political statement. It appears, let me say that, right? Now, let us move on. Now, Jamaica, listen. We have a situation as it relates to.
Before you move on, 1 second here. Look at that post from John Scott. As for me, if Horace Chan can be National Security Minister, Mr. Palmer can be Member of Parliament. And I agree 100%. 100%.
You know why John Scott said it? When you have our Minister of National Security and Deputy Prime Minister came out into a WikiLeaks cable, right, that this man involved, right, with drugs and gun shipment, and because that is where we are going to get into, and that is one of the reasons why the thumbnail as it relates to the evil empire, right? Now, if you look at that, right, now under the Jamaican Labour Party government, as it relates to drugs activity, you have seen how active that is. But we are going to answer some very serious questions tonight. Now, let us warn, right, the government as it relates to United States engagement into a situation as it relates to Haiti. So we're going to bring up that document as it relates to how the United States, right, engage. And we are warning the Jamaican government that look forward for such engagement. Let us show that document. All right, let us get into that.
I'm going to cover Jesse or get in because I'm quiet now.
All right, let us get into that in terms of, warning the government, right? Possible involvement in drugs operation. Let me say that. Now, here it is. And, you know, I don't want people to be surprised. It is what it is. U.S. sanctions former Asian president over alleged drug trafficking. Right? Let us get into that. The United States has imposed sanctions on 80s former president Michael Joseph Martelly over alleged drug trafficking, accusing him of playing a significant role in perpetuating the continuing crisis in the country. The U.S. Department of Treasury, in a statement on Tuesday, said Martelly abuses influence to facilitate the trafficking of dangerous drugs, including cocaine, right, destined for the United States. The department said Martelly, who served as president of the Caribbean nation between 2011 and 2016, also worked with the Asian drug traffickers, sponsored multiple gangs, and engaged in laundering of illicit drugs, right? Drug proceeds. Today, action against Martelly emphasized the significant and destabilizing role, right, he and other corrupt political elites have played in the perpetuating the ongoing crisis in the Haiti. Treasury acting under Secretary of Terrorism and Financial Intelligence Bradley Smith said in the statement, in the United States, along with other international partners, is committed to disrupting those who facilitate the drug trafficking, corruption, and other illicit activities, fueling the horrific gang violence and political instability. Tuesday action freezes any of Martelly U.S. assets and generally bars Americans from dealing with him. Wow. It echoes similar moves from the Canadian government, which imposed sanctions in 2002 against Martelly and two other former prime ministers, accusing them of profiting from armed gangs. Now, this is very serious, Mario, right? Because we know that the Caribbean basin, where Jamaica, Haiti, and other small islands, and where drugs operation rampant and active, right? And we have seen all sorts of signs, right? We have seen where plane came land, right, in Jamaica, right? Nobody being caught. Like so many drugs operation happen in Jamaica, and right, you don't have any form of reasonable apprehension and reasonable conclusion of those cases. So, Sister Maria, as it relates to what happened there, what say you where that is concerned?
Question: when was he? What period did he serve as Haiti's president?
I think he said between the period 2011 to 2016.
Okay, all right. And you know, and the question is, I wonder when that will happen to Jamaica. You know, when you think of all the drug busting, the coke port and the plane land and the ship dock, and you know, and all this is drug related, and you know, there are no arrests. This one in Havendale, I think, because the DEA is involved, why you are getting some movement in in this situation. But if left up to the local police and their own devices, they wouldn't lift a finger, because they do know who the perpetrators of these crimes are. But if they call any names, they will be implicated. And so therefore they're not calling any names for fear of being dragged down with these people. But I'm wondering, when is the US government going to calaboose some of these people, these politicians and businessmen in Jamaica that are drug traffickers, gun runners, and all of that? Because this is the poor man in Jamaica who has a high-powered weapon, gets it by default. Because the persons who bring it in are in a different earning bracket than these poor people. However, they use them, especially to when there's political violence and all of that. They use them to fight one another. Look, let's go back to 1980 when guns were introduced to use to kill one another over what? Politics, green, orange, right? So now we fast forward to now when you have the problem just kept increasing. Before it was marijuana with ganja. Now ganja has no price because it is legal. So it's no cocaine is because it is the rich people, them drugs, right? So who is bringing it in? It's not the poor man downtown. No. It's uptown. But the poor man downtown gets co-opted into it. Exactly. And so when you have these high-powered weapons, falling into the hands of these young people, it's by default. Because if 200 guns going to Jamaica, what, on a weekly basis or monthly? I think it's monthly basis. I wish Rattigan was here. But I think it's 200 guns on a monthly basis. Yeah. Multiply that by 12.
Exactly. That is crazy.
But right. So then, and they're not that is what they confiscate. What percentage of those are confiscated? And when they confiscate them, what do they do with them?
All right. Let us step, Murray, as it relates to the recent finding that you're talking about. Now they are saying that 5 men charged, right? So let us get into that. 5 men charged in Jamaica, largest cocaine bust. Now, and as you said, Mario, right, that we are hearing about this as a result of course, international participants, right? International influence in there. So, yeah. All right. So we are going to just put up that update.
Let me just switch that
for us and get into that. As Maria was saying that, right? Now we only hear about it to the fact that, of course, international players involved into this. Right? So yeah, we are searching for the clip, guys. Just give us some patience.
Yeah, right. But you see, if we had more of this in kind of involvement, we would have more things being solved,
Exactly. So we have the clip, Maria. Let us play the clip. All right, good.
On Tuesday, August 6, 2024, members of the Firearm and Narcotics Investigation Division within CTOC executed a raid at 2 Riverside Drive, Avondale, Kingston 19, which resulted in the seizure of a large quantity of cocaine and the arrest of 5 male Jamaican nationals. The persons arrested are all from Kingston addresses. Those arrested are 57-year-old Clive Roy Davis, 58-year-old Colin Ricketts, 51-year-old George Sterling, 42-year-old Clayton Peart, and 72-year-old Juna Aldane. During the operation, a Toyota IAS vehicle and a 2-story concrete dwelling were searched, where the police discovered several knitted bags containing packages with a white powdery substance suspected to be cocaine. The substance weighed 2,526 kilograms, or just over 5,569 pounds, and has an estimated street value of just over $75 million. The accused, who have been interviewed in the presence of their lawyers, remain in police custody after they were charged on Friday, August 16, 2024, for possession of cocaine, dealing in cocaine, trafficking in cocaine, and conspiracy. The court dates are still being finalized. This seizure represents the largest on record in Jamaica's history. The Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division, along with its local, regional, and international partners, are continuing investigation into this matter and are actively pursuing other leads to further dismantle other criminal networks. The Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division continues to make significant impact on illicit firearms and drug trafficking. Since the start of 2024, the division's interdiction efforts have resulted in the seizure of 86 illegal firearms, 1,154 rounds of ammunition, 20,074 kilograms of ganja, approximately 67 kilograms of cocaine, with an estimated street value of just over $2 million US. This figure does not include the most recent cocaine bust. Meanwhile, we would like to note the fact that significant gains are being made in terms of the arrest of persons for drug offenses. A total of 168 individuals have been arrested since the beginning of 2024. This includes 147 Jamaicans, 8 Americans, 5 British, 2 Hungarians, 1 Dutch, 1 Argentinian, 1 French, 1 Asian, 1 Canadian, 1 Nicaraguan. The Jamaica Constabulary Force will continue to pursue individuals and syndicates engaging in the illicit firearms and narcotics trade and posing the great...
All right. Mario, before you speak, let me say quite a few things here. One thing we know for sure, certainly 100%, that the Jamaica Labour Party government is not serious in fighting drugs and as it relates to gun trafficking. No, they are not serious. And we're going to present the evidence and show people why Mystic Sensation is saying that they are absolutely not serious. Now, they said that, you know, as it relates to this bus, right, it's a giant effort between local police officers and international partners. Now, Murray, right there, you can see if that, number one, if they did not get the tip from international partners, right, who wouldn't have been hearing anything about this, right? One thing we know for sure that we look into some foundations that members of the Jamaica Labour Party, right, members of parliament have as it relates to these foundations. And we realize that when it comes to, you know, near election, right, we see a lot of money dumped into these foundations. And remember that we have been asking, who are these donors, right, donating the money? You can see the pattern that appears to be campaign funding based on how you see that, okay, when it comes close to the campaign year, you see a lot of money dumped in these situations. Now, Sister Maria, we know definitely that I am going to show a document before, right, just to show the people that Jamaica Labour Party is just not serious. As a matter of fact, right, they are making the ports more vulnerable, right, for guns to come in and drugs to come in. And so then if they are doing that, how are they serious? My question, Sister Maria, if you notice all the drugs, the drug boss, I want to ask one question because there's no transparency in terms of all those drugs that they have in their possession, right? All these drugs were destroyed, right? Because we don't want a situation where, okay, all right, because international partner involved and they have to bust it, right? Because of international, right, tips and so forth, and they know that this come under the awareness of the United States. But now, all the drugs processed out of the system in a transparent way to say, okay, all right, like the Avondale, $12 billion worth of drugs were found, right? Okay. At the end of the court or whatever judgment, all that drugs processed out of the system, is the government is definitely destroying those drugs. What say you, Sister Maria, with that concern?
No, the government not doing it properly. Them who steal what they must steal and whatever is left, they do whatever they want with it. But no. But here's the thing, two things. You notice we have heard nothing about the coke port. How long ago has the coke port been that one happened, that bust happened? It's
Exactly.
over a year now, and there's
Exactly.
no word on that. And I'm
Yes.
quite sure others have happened. There were other instances of drug dealing that happened. Look at the plane that landed. Nobody know. Look at the ship that docked. Nobody know who were the occupants of these things. So it's like, and then you come with this table day one, like, you know, they like shiny objects. And like I said, the only reason that this has happened and they had to go through with some arrest because
Yes.
other people were involved. Outside
Other-
forces were involved. If they were left up to their own devices under Andrew Holness and Dr. Crab, nothing would happen. Nothing would happen. We'd only hear that there was this huge drug bust. And moving right along, that's all they do. But when Fix Bailey was given that speech, in the beginning he said a seizure of cocaine, but then he went further to say suspected to be cocaine. He needs to make up his mind. It can't be both. Because if he's going to say suspected to be, then he should not have said cocaine in the beginning. That means he knew it was cocaine. So continue that same thread. You follow what I'm saying? So then he's confusing people.
Yeah, but let me say something here, Maria. As it relates to my knowledge, right? And this goes internationally as well, right? For Fitzbailey to make a statement that it is cocaine, right? That statement would be wrong. Let me say why it would be wrong. Remember that when you find drugs, Fitzbailey and the police, they are not the forensic expert. So that samples of the drugs need to be taken, right? Sent through a forensic expert. It is the forensic expert who is going to determine whether or not, right, whatever percentage, right, of what substance that they would call it cocaine. So if Fitzbailey just say cocaine, right, then just like if the police, in terms of when a police shoot a man, and we know that, okay, based on the signs, that all signs that you have seen in terms of the signs of death, right, the policeman cannot say that this man is dead because the policeman is not trained in the field, right? You have to use a doctor, right? That the doctor is going to pronounce the man dead. So the police, even when the police know that he's dead, because it might be the chest, the frothy mucus coming out of his mouth, and the paleness of his eyes, and you know, and all of that, all of those signs that you have seen, the police cannot say that this man is dead because it is not the policeman in that profession to say that he is dead. The police is a police. He cannot, you understand, diagnose someone to be dead, right? It is the doctor's responsibility. So when you find drugs, right, when Fitzbailey said, right, suspected to be drugs, that would be correct if he said suspected to be drugs, because even although he looked and he realized that, okay, he believed that it is drugs, right, it has to go through what we call forensic expert, for a forensic expert to test it. So let us correct that.
Right, but he said in the beginning it was cocaine. That's why I'm saying he contradicted himself by first saying it was cocaine and then going to suspected to be. You know, he has to maintain one line of thought.
Yes.
So as not to confuse the listening public.
You're right.
I'm
reading, exactly, Sister Maria. I'm reading the chat with Stacy Good. Bring up this so that Sister Maria can see too. Stacy, good girl, Barnaby. All right. Mystic, I want to know if the American government knows about these drugs issues in Jamaica. What are they doing? Because are they willing to start canceling MPs' visas and arrests? You know, this is a very, very, very good question.
Darren Vaz.
Yeah, you remember
I don't know what I don't know what happened, why they canceled Paul's zone, but Paul's zone was canceled and got it back. Darren's zone was canceled and got it back with some stipulations. So
Yes.
I'm quite sure the government, the American government, knows more than they're telling, and that's understandable because you can't, you don't show your hands that you're playing. You have to play it close to your chest because they're so corrupt. Like again, we always say the Minister of National Security's name is in WikiLeaks, and he's the Minister of National Security. So can you trust that person? Unless you trust him to the point where you're threatening that if you do not follow through on the information I'm giving you, then I'm going to have to expose you.
Exactly.
Then he's forced to do something. But left to their own devices, no. And then remember the businessman who suffered his untimely passing.
Yes.
The same week that the drug was found in Havendale. So what is the connection to all? What was his connection, if any, to that drug bust?
Exactly, Maria. Right. I'm getting an echo.
It's Maria's.
Okay. All right. So Maria, let us look at the next document to see if the Jamaican Labour Party government really serious, right, about fighting drugs. Now, and this is very serious because we are going to discuss this because this is crazy. You can't have a situation where we have so much drugs coming into the country, so much guns, where the Minister of National Security, speaking as it relates to saying roughly about 200 guns coming into the country per month, right? And the decision, even when you know that, look at the decision that they had made, Maria, which telling me that they don't want the gun and drugs to stop, right? They are facilitating it. So let us look at the next document. Let us look at the next document. They don't want the drugs and guns to be stopped. They are hypocrites. So, share?
Yes, it's share.
Okay, so let us get into this situation to just show that they are not serious in terms of stopping guns from coming in, right? Drugs from coming in. Here you have it, 60 to lose jobs, and I have read this document some time ago, right? PMSL staff being cut, right? June 30th. They can't be serious. At least 60 employees of the state-owned Port Management Security Limited will be out of jobs come July 1 when the almost 19-year-old entity is shuttered. In a June 5th letter to the PMSL employees, the Port Authority of Jamaica confirmed that their post will be made redundant on June 30 based on a decision by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service that the non-intrusive inspection program carried out by employees of the PMSL should be returned to the Jamaica Customs Agency, and where the Jamaican Customs Agency people, they are not the one who train in this particular category to detect drugs that is coming in. So then for you to take their responsibility and give it to persons who are not trained in that field, right? It makes no sense that you want to stop drugs and guns coming in when these are the persons who finding the guns and drugs. This just doesn't make any sense. Over the coming days and weeks, we will be issuing further notices and arranging a series of meeting seminars to provide all the necessary information for the efficient implementation of this redundancy exercise, the Port Authority said in its letter. Take it away on it. Now, Sister Maria, this is what we are talking about, right? As it relates to the amount of drugs, right, coming through, right? Guns and drugs. You have seen, container where, a large stocks of guns and certain things. And these are the people, right, who are doing the scanning, who are doing the finding these weapons. Since the government realized that they have a very serious problem Why laid off these people, Maria? You want to have give a take on it?
You see, that makes no sense because they are the gatekeepers, you know.
Exactly.
They are the gatekeepers. They are the first line, front line workers out there knowing, you know, who can intercept the drugs and the guns before they hit the mainland. But when you remove them, who do they put there in their spaces? And if they replace them, who are they? What kind of people are they replacing them with? People who are, you know, beholden to the government, so they give it a pass, or beholden to a businessman, or beholden. So I don't understand the rationale behind firing these important workers, because they're really the gatekeepers of, you know, the country in terms of what comes in, what goes out. But you know, this is what we have to understand, and we must always say, share, is that there are decent, honorable, hardworking people in Jamaica who will do their jobs and do it well. It's the few corrupt that can corrupt the many. Just a few corrupt. That they say one bad apple can spoil the whole basket. That is a fact. Because if it is allowed to stay there and rot, then one becomes two, then two becomes three, and it goes on and goes on and goes on if you don't remove the first bad apple. And that is why we're about accountability, good governance, and transparency. Because you have to start somewhere. So you start removing the bad apples. So if we can remove the bad apples from now, starting with this administration, then the future for Jamaica that is not so riddled with corruption is a bright one.
Exactly. Love that. Maria. As you said, it makes sense when we see these persons who have years, Maria, of experience in terms of scanning and knowing how to find these weapons coming in and these drugs. They have years of training. So then what would be the prudency for the government, Maria, to be laying off 60 persons, you understand, within that area? How does that make sense? How does that make sense? That just doesn't make any sense at all. Now, all right, look here, Maria, we are going to go into some heat tonight. And we are going to correct some people because we are going to step it up now, step up the temperature in the room. Now, when it comes to the election eve, Mystic Sensation, and other Manleyites, we make sure that we comb the internet, the social media space, to make sure that we don't make propaganda get out there to weigh people's mind. And for persons out there who are filtering the lies, we have to have the responsibility to make sure that we catch those lies on social media, expose them, and give people the correct information. Now we are going to show 2 clips of persons speaking, and where they have no clue, of what they are talking about. But while giving blame to the People's National Party, you understand, without doing relevant research, or they just know the facts and just decided that, okay, they want to lie, because we know that the Jamaica Labour Party like to continue down the vein of propagandism, And so then when you see these social media, vloggers, particularly when it comes to the Jamaica Labour Party vloggers, they speak out of terms. And if you notice, they never yet can present, facts to show a supported source where they are getting their information from. So I am going to get into, and I'm not calling this person Jamaica Labour Party vlogger. This is a vlogger that might be just did not do adequate research, and just saying the wrong thing. And I wish that vlogger would be listening, so that he can be corrected. And so then in the future, he knows, he being aware, he becomes cognizant of the information that we are passing. So let us listen to him, right? And we are going to correct the behavior and put it out there because this on social media and it will spread. So we can't leave it. We have to correct it when we are going in, when we are in what we call an election eve, right? We have to correct these information. So without any delay, let us get into it, honey. Oral Wallace Campbell. All right. Let us get into that. All right. We're coming up because we want people to hear it, right?
Okay.
All right. So
It's not. I'll see the name on the paper.
let us bring it up and play it.
I'm here to highlight the reasons why most Jamaicans consider PJ Patterson the worst prime minister to ever serve the people of Jamaica. PJ's political career was derailed in 1980 general election when he lost that election and lost his constituency to a man by the name of Euphema Williams, after which he made the now famous speech, "I shall return." PJ was handed the prime minister job in the year 1992 after Michael.
One second, a mistake. Can you play it in pieces and I could dissect it in pieces?
Went on the following year to win the general election,
All right.
defeating Edward.
Hold on.
Yes, stop right there and let us go to the beginning. I can tell, no, stop right there before you move on. I can tell that person
Yes.
that he's lying.
Yes, we know that.
Because in 1980, and I tell you why, I was there when he said, "I shall return." I was there. And it was 1980. It wasn't 1980. So you see, when people talking and they don't have facts, do a little reading, people. A little reading, because there are some of us out here who have first-hand knowledge of these things, first-hand experience. Not because somebody tell them, but because they were present. I happen to have been present at the time. Moving right along. Oh, you hearing me, Mystic? Am I hearing Mystic?
Okay. So what I'm saying, the beauty of tonight is to the fact that we get to the source, Maria, right? And we are going to show evidence in terms of every item that he spoke about. We are going to bring it out tonight and show the people how lying or vindictive as it relates to how some Jamaican Labour Party bloggers, not say him in particular, right? But this information, we are going to crush it tonight. So let us run it.
Yeah, and see another person in our chat, in the chat, says he was there as well. Vian, whether male or female, was there as well. So that is, we can just rubbish that first part there. So.
But this is out there on social media space, and people are listening to it, right? And so we are going to correct it tonight. Play.
Edward Siaga. PJ held post as Prime Minister for Jamaica from the year 1992 to 2006. PJ had never lost a general election. Okay, that was just an overview of PJ Patterson's life and political career. Now let's get to the meat of the matter as to why PJ is considered the worst Prime Minister amongst many Jamaicans. Firstly, in the year 1996, PJ Patterson put up JPS, that's Jamaica Public Service, for sale. However, the sale did not went through because the 3 bid that came in, the government was not satisfied with that price. However, in the year 2001, JPS was sold to Myrant, who acquired an 80% ownership in the month of March 2001 in JPS. Secondly, Between the year 2002 and 2005, PJ fixed the price of bauxite while production costs went up and the aluminum price went down. And at this time, bauxite was one of our main contributors to the national GDP. PJ also sold the government majority stake in the state-owned company Jamaica to an overseas entity. PJ sold the government 43% stake in cement company to a Trinidadian company who still holds control of cement company up to this day. He sold our national airline, which is Air Jamaica, which gave Jamaicans across the world a sense of pride. He sold the Norman Manley International Airport in the year 2003. He sold Donald Sangster International Airport that same year to a Mexican company who is currently the owner of both airports in Jamaica. His party was in control of the government when the garment and manufacturing company exited out of Jamaica. This industry provided a lot of jobs for Jamaicans across the country, and I know it was devastating for enough Jamaicans who was laid off. I know this for a fact because I was affected by this firsthand. I should have mentioned when Myron purchased JPS in 2001, couple years after, they sold it to a next American company by the name of Mary Benny. At the time, Mary Benny was filing for bankruptcy in the United States of America. Soon after they purchased JPS and came to Jamaica, they raised the light bill on the general public, which see the company's profit went to an all-time high. Soon after, they withdrew their bankruptcy filing from the United States federal government. They then came out in a press release and said PJ Patterson was their chief advisor. All these companies PJ had sold in the late 90s and early 2000s. If these companies were still under the governance or the running of Jamaican, it would be a total different argument as it relates to our economy. Because at no time a company like JPS should be privatized. This company shouldn't be for profit. The country Jamaica or the government of Jamaica own absolutely nothing in this country. PJ sold out all of it. They always said, it's not the same day leaf drop a water bottom it rotten. And this is a true testament to Jamaica. Because at the time when PJ sold all these companies from Jamaica, it wasn't affecting it. It seems like the best decision at the time. But now, 10 to 15 years on, they went on.
Let us stop it here.
All right. Let us take that away and put up a next idiot. You understand? Because the two of them go correct him. The two of them are correct and beat them tonight. Without any delay, put up this next idiot. Right? And that's why we publicly is going to correct them and publicly embarrass them. Okay. Let us put up the next idiot.
That one. Yes.
Sure.
You won't hear the People's National Party speak much about JPS because as it pertains to that company, they were the one who sold our assets for pennies. Pennies, and now have us in a chokehold. Now, in 2016 and 2015, they had the ability to redeem themselves, right? By taking away the monopoly structure that the Jamaica Public Service had. As usual, we can count on the PNP not to think about Jamaicans and the struggle that we face on a daily basis. They keep saying that they love the poor, but you continue to make what you love. You make more poor people. And that is why the JPS have us in a chokehold, and we have to wait only.
Take him away.
Jamaica Labour Party will release us from this chokehold. And that's just it.
All right. We are not going to waste any more time with him. You understand? And those vicious lies. Now, evidence number one let us get into the biggest thing that they accused PJ Patterson for. Let us get into Air Jamaica. We are breaking them down as it relates to all the accusation and proof to the public. Let us find Air Jamaica sales, honey, and let us show people who sold Air Jamaica. Let us get into it. That's why we beat and teach. Right? Okay. So look, government selling off Air Jamaica properties, right? And this published Thursday, February 11, 2010. Me know the PGA never ruled in 2010. This is Bruce Golden. This evidence here is Bruce Golden. Let us get into the meat of the matter. How that man, you understand, told such a vicious lie. And PJ Patterson, let us dig in. Government yesterday gave its clearest indication yet that it is streamlining preparations for the sale of the national airline, Air Jamaica, as well as taking care of the liabilities for which the state will be responsible. In a statement to Parliament yesterday regarding the privatization of the airline, Prime Minister Bruce Golden, Prime Minister who? Prime Minister Bruce Golden said the government would be making a provision of 27 billion in its next budget to cover its costs for transferring responsibilities for Air Jamaica. Golden told members of the House of Representatives that government had no intention of providing any financial support to Air Jamaica beyond March 31st. Let us take that away. Let us take that away. Let us take that away. Right? Now, evidence. Solid evidence. What do you have to say about that, Marie? That number one, solid evidence. Solid evidence. Solid evidence.
That's what happens when people don't take the time out to read, do some research, and find things out for themselves before they come to the public space and run their mouths. Because, you know, one of them talked about, you know, and I'm going to paraphrase here, basically, the same day something happened that you feel the effect to do it over time.
Yes.
But if we want to fully understand the reason why Jamaica is in the current state that it is, you got to go back to 1980 and Edward Seaga. You cannot start in the middle of something. You have to go to the beginning to fully get an appreciation for the systematic and the gradual degradation of the Jamaican society. Education, healthcare, it started back then. And many of us remember a time when we went to school for free. People are going to school for free, yes, from basic school through tertiary. And those persons who outgrew the school system, like adults who could not read and write, a program was created for them called Jamal.
Yes.
My mother was a Jamal teacher to teach them to read and write. Teach farmers. When the farmers learned to read and write, the farmer could now go and open an account at the cooperative bank because the cooperative banks were local. So they didn't have to go to the major banks in the major town squares. It was in their community. You had one in, you know, the small community. You had one in the crossroads. Everybody in the town of a crossroads. So there was one. Okay? And you look at healthcare. Many of us can remember a healthcare system that worked because you had community health clinics, and you had the community health nurse, and you had the community school nurse who came around and gave the vaccination. And I'm looking at Miss Brown right now, Mrs. Brown, who was the nurse responsible for coming to our schools and administering vaccinations. And whenever Mrs. Brown's car came into that school and we saw that brown uniform, we know we're going to join the line for injection. And nobody wanted to be the first in the line. But we all got that. Many of us remember that. Many of us remember the school feeding programs. Many of us remember getting free uniforms and free issue books, not to be sold. It had the timetable on the back and the Dr. Bird. Okay? Many of us remember those, and a measuring thing at the back as well. Many of us remember those things. So when people are talking about how we got to this place, you cannot come to the middle of it and say, this is where it started. No, it started back then. Who started the destabilization that took place in Jamaica? It started under JLP government, led by Edward Seaga.
It's true.
A government who sabotaged his own people. And many of the persons who were part of that sabotage and that propaganda are in parliament now. Babsy Grange.
Exactly.
Mike Henry.
Exactly.
Colonel Charles is retired.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. They were a part of that sabotage of the very people that they want to represent. And they called a national education program, free education, communism. They called free healthcare communism. They said that the communists were coming, which was because Castro and Michael Manley had a great working relationship. And they had exchange programs. And many Jamaican students could go to Cuba and study, could go to Russia and study, travel, go to other countries and study and come back. There were exchange programs. It worked. A lot of people who are running their mouths now as adults and don't want other people to be pulled up and are telling them to pull themselves up by the bootstrap benefited from that free education and that free health care that was destroyed by a Jamaica Labour Party administration. Don't let anybody fool you.
So true.
And this is not something that we're talking about because somebody told us. This is something we're talking about because we experienced it. So you cannot start in the middle of something. Now, as for the selling out of your Jamaica, it was the pride of the country.
Yes.
But it wasn't sold by PJ Patterson. It wasn't sold by PJ Patterson.
Maria, let us go into the next pillar where JPS is concerned, because we make sure that we bring out the research and show it to the people. We are not going to make, when you have an election eve, you understand those lies, you understand cause destruction. So we are correcting it and cleaning the slate. Now I'm bringing the evidence so that the people can see that and make an informed decision. We are going to correct those narratives that are out there. We are not going to leave it. Now, let us get to the government to divest GMB and shares in JPS. Let us get into that. Right? We are breaking down all the accusation and the lie that they told. Right? Let us share it. Now, I know that they don't like to see that face, the surprise. Well, let me show the face. See the face there? Right? Government to divest JMB and shares in JPS. January 13, 2022. Look at that. Finance and Public Service. Right? Now, let us get into this. The government is to divest ownership of the Jamaica Mortgage Bank and its 19% stake in the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, to locals during the 2022 to 23 fiscal year. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clark. I don't know why them call these men honorable, you know. Trust me, especially Nigel Clark and Andrew Holness. Why they are calling these men honorable? They are certainly not honorable. Says the administration has made advances to this end, and I am definitely expecting that in the next fiscal year, we will be able to launch initial public offerings for those two. So let us show the evidence. He was speaking during Mayberry Investment Limited virtually monthly investor forum on Wednesday, right, January 12th. Dr. Clark advised that 2 additional public bodies are in the pipeline for privatization, adding that the government will continue to roll these and others out as we redefine Jamaican state. Take it away. Take it away, because we like when we beat them with the evidence. Now let us go back now and speak to Jamalco, that he had spoke. Every single thing that he spoke is a callous lie. Let us go to Jamalco and show the people what happened as it relates to Jamalco. Jacone said, what exactly can Jamaica be proud of these days? Exactly. All right, let us go to proceed with Jamalco sale. Government to proceed with Jamalco sale. Now, when we have information disseminating out there negatively to misinform, right? Misinformation and disinformation. Yeah, we have to correct these. We are not going to make it slide, right? Because these are just these are what you call barefoot lies, right? Barefoot lies. Looking you right in the eyes and just lie. Barefaced lie, right? The government to proceed with Jamalco's sale despite OCJ probe. And this is Thursday, July 1st, 2010. This again is Bruce Golden, sir. Bruce Golden, not PJ Patterson. So, right, let us clear the record where that is concerned. The government has decided to press ahead with the divestment of its stake in Jamalco in Clarendon, despite the probe being carried out by the Office of the Contractor General into the sale. Prime Minister Bruce Golden says, while the decision to carry out the divestment is not a popular one, the government will press ahead. Clarendon Alumina Productions, which manages the government interest in the alumina refinery, has accumulated losses amounting to more than 500 million since 2002. The losses stem from an argument for the forward sale of the bauxite. Let us take that away and talk to the panel. So, right, this is one of the reasons why we correct, right, those lies. And Maria, I want to believe that PJ Patterson, right, had done so much things that a lot of people don't know. So tonight, what we are going to do, we are going to show Jamaican people the amount of things. So when GLP comes out, right, and talk about 18 years of PJ Patterson, right, and nothing achieved, again, it is a callous lie. All of the things that people achieve in terms of certain policies and so forth, certain programs and so forth, Andrew Holness is now taking benefit of those programs. So then tonight we are going to open the floor and show, right, what some of the programs that Andrew Holness now using to show the Jamaican populace programs were implemented by PJ Patterson. Sister Maria, you have anything to say before we go on?
You see, these people are talking about the middle of Honorable PJ Patterson's life. His life didn't start when he became Prime Minister, you know. PJ Patterson has been involved in politics going back to Norman Manley. So all the successes of a Norman Manley and a Michael Manley, he was very much a part of. Not only has he been a part of local successes, international successes as well.
Exactly.
So you cannot talk about the man's life in the middle. You have to look at the full picture. And he talks about Jamalco. Nobody in the Jamaica Labour Party should ever mention any bauxite company because they're not getting a red cent from bauxite levy right now. The very bauxite that Michael Manley took back from the North American companies and say, you cannot come into my country and own the wealth of my people. You cannot have more shares than I do. So we're going to renegotiate this deal here. And he beat them to it. He beat them at their own game. And he owned 51% of the bauxite. And he was getting over they went from getting $40 million a year to $200 million. You know what he did with that? It was invested in healthcare. It was invested in education. It was invested in social programs. It was invested in roads. You know what the JLP call it? Communism. Communism. We cannot forget those things.
All right.
Okay? Communism. So you cannot talk about PJ's life in the middle. So, and that's just, and I'm just giving a nutshell, just a brief synopsis. So I'm just giving the brief synopsis, and that is coming from Norman Manley. And he's one of the brightest minds in the Caribbean. He's one of the brightest, and as a matter of fact, he's the best political strategist and campaign manager Jamaica has ever seen. Don't kid yourself about that. And we need to give the man his flowers before he's dead. You understand me? Give it to him while he's alive. He's the best.
One of the things that you mentioned, Maria, the fundamental achievement that PJ Patterson had done. Remember that PJ Patterson had paid off the IMF. Every dollar paid off.
Because remember now, he was a part of a governance structure that says we walk through the world on our feet. Walk through the world on. So any success that Michael Manley achieved, PJ Patterson was very much a part of that. So you cannot talk about the Manley administration successes, the Manley era, without talking about Percival Noel James Patterson.
The best politician.
You cannot talk about the Michael Manley years, the Michael Manley era, without talking about Portia Lucretia Simpson. We need to get our heads out of the stands and let's be straightforward and let's be honest. Let's have an honest discussion. Are they perfect? 100% no. But guess what? They did more than Edward Seaga, Bruce Golding, and Andrew Holness combined for Jamaicans. So when they're talking about it, be honest about it and talk about the man's legacy. We can have an honest discussion about some of the failure. Of course, we can have that discussion, but you are not going to sully the man's reputation based on, what you think happened. No, come with some facts. And again, I say, if you're going to talk about this man and talk about his record and he has been a public servant all his life.
Exactly.
All his life. And he served Norman Manley, he served under Michael Manley before becoming a leader himself. So you have to go back to all of that. And he didn't lead selfish like how Andrew is leading and having a respect for the opposition. No, he did not do that. He respected the Constitution, he respected the opposition, and he respected the people of Jamaica.
Definitely.
Okay? So you cannot have discussion about Percival now. And I don't care who wants to say, we are political. Everybody is political. Even the people who are calling other people political are themselves political. Cut the crap. Everybody is political. All right? Even in the church, they have politics. So everybody is political. But do not talk about PJ Patterson by starting in the middle of his life. At least give a synopsis about the beginning part. And then let's come to the middle and talk about when he was leader. So if you're going to say why he was, let's talk about where he came from, how he got to where he is, and some of the things that he did, and he built on and he expanded on. National Youth Service came out of the Manley era. He was very much a part of that. Yeah, so.
All right. Thank you, Maria. So we are going to just show, many achievements. And as a matter of fact, when you look at all of the achievements being achieved, politically speaking, right, PJ Patterson is one of those who had done much more programs than any other politicians and policies, right, crafted them. So, and so when they're talking about 18 years, right, I mean, 18 years of triumph and success, right? That PJ Patterson take the country and was able to pay off the IMF loan. But let us show some of the programs that were so instrumental and still instrumental in this time that being utilized by even the current government as we speak. Let us look into PJ bio and see how well done PJ did for the Jamaican people. A politician that needs to be praised. A politician, right? He is the right honorable, right? Without any form of doubt. PJ Patterson is one of the best politicians that Jamaica has ever seen. So I'll show you many things that PJ Patterson has crafted. Let us go to that and show PJ Patterson achievement over the years. And that is one of the reasons why PJ Patterson were able to stay in the political realm for 18 years. That was the fundamental reason, because of what he had achieved, right? So never forget that. That is the reason why PJ Patterson, right, spent 18 years, right, doing and crafting what needs to be crafted. So, I mean, when you look on the People's National Party political leaders, they all done tremendously well. Now, let us go to, and we are going to zoom it for them so that they can see it.
It's zoomed already to 200.
Okay, so over here. Okay, so let us start here. The most honorable Percival James Patterson, and party president 1992 to 2006, and from 1992 to 2006, look on all what PJ Patterson had achieved. Now, PJ Patterson, the architect of the physical modernization of Jamaica physical and economic infrastructure, is the only Jamaica Prime Minister to have led his party to victory in 3 consecutive general elections. Under PJ Patterson leadership, more Jamaicans owned land, and this is significant. This is what we need to be proud of. Let me go back and read it right over. Under the PJ Patterson's leadership, more Jamaicans owned land, had access to decent shelter, access to water, electricity, and telephone service than ever before. His non-confrontational style was a major contributing factor to the decline in partisan political violence. By the time he retired in 2006, PJ Patterson, Honorable, the Right Honorable PJ Patterson, earned the distinction of being the longest serving Prime Minister of Jamaica. And the reason for that are as follows. Now let us look. 73, the modernization and expansion of the infrastructure of the island's airport, seaport, and territorial waters to enhance the environment for investment. This done by PJ Patterson. The construction of a modern highway system beginning with Highway 2000. And I heard Andrew Holness trying to put himself, you understand, as it relates to the highways, as if it is his government, you understand, creating the highway and start with the highway and not giving any credit, you understand, to the People's National Party who began the progress of the highway. Under no circumstances that Andrew Holness should be talking about the highway. Andrew Holness is following a blueprint that's set by PJ Patterson and Portia Simpson. And that is the living truth here. So when it comes to highway, right, Jamaica Labour Party is not to be speaking about any highway, right? They did not create or set the trend for highway, right? Now, let us go further. The construction of North Coast Highway from Negril to Port Antonio. A lot of people seem like they're never aware of this. 76, preparation and rollout of the tourism master plan for sustainable tourism development, right? Major tourism expansion, and I hear Jamaica Labour Party talking about tourism now. Now, this is, you understand, the person who definitely deals with that. Look at so many hotels being created underwear as it relates to PJ Patterson leadership. New Ritz-Carlton Hotel, Grand Palladium Hotel, Grand Bahia Principe Hotel, Iberia Star Hotel, Sandals White House Hotel, Secret Resorts, Royal 1, 2, 3, and 4 hotels, right, among others. Approximately 30,000 jobs created in the tourism sector, right? Now, Jamaica visited by a record 3 million stopover and cruise tourists in 2006. Now, 79, Falmouth Cruise Ship Pier built, Port Maria Marina built, Montego Bay Convention Center built, Tourism Enhancement Fund created, Tourism Product Development Company TPD formed, right? South Coast Tourism expanded. 85, significant expansion of bauxite and aluminum production. So when time this young man is talking about how PJ Patterson sell Jamaica, all those lies. 86, Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation, JDIC, was created to protect depositors in the banking system. 87, created the Financial Service Commission. Right now, so remember now the FSC was created by PJ Patterson, right? As it relates to what Dan Crawford and Edward Siaga had done. Let me remind people why the FSC was created. The criminality of Dan Crawford and what Edward Siaga had done, right? Giving out, as it relates to non-banking entity, giving out unsecured loans, right? This is the reason why PJ Patterson created the FSC, right? To make sure that they audit, right, these people. So people need to understand the fundamental things and programs that PJ Patterson implemented. Now, 88, foreign exchange market liberalized. 89, Fair Trade Commission created. 90, personal income tax rate reduced from 33.25% to 25% to provide more disposable income to taxpayers. Expansion of mandate of the Art Trust by establishing the National Training Agency, right, to serve the workforce, right? And let us go over here. Now, Jesus, please, the amount that, look there, the amount of things what PJ do. Unemployment reduced substantially, reaching a record low of 9.6% in 2006. 64 schools built and refurbished, including 17 new basic, primary, and high schools in Western Jamaica. People want the whole world to come look and see all of the things that what PJ Patterson do. 94, National Youth Service reintroduced in 1994. Right, 95, provided free textbook in schools at a cost of $3.3 billion. 96, Early Childhood Commission established. 97, the establishment of the National Council of Education. 98, Poverty Eradication Program, right, reduced poverty to 9% in 2006 from 30% in 1989. Isn't that significant? From 30% to 9%. Now, introduce the poverty alleviation through health and education, the PATH program, right, that Andrew Holness is now talking about, created by PJ Patterson. 100, significant growth in the National Insurance Fund generated a larger pool of funds for the provision of social security benefits and assist in reducing poverty. 101, under the National Insurance Scheme, the NIA Gold Health Plan was established to provide health service to prisoners. 102, the establishment of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund. 103, the establishment of the National Health Fund. 104, Jamaica Drugs for the Elderly Programs, JDEP, introduced. 105, some 50 new ambulances were commissioned into service for the health sector. 106, hospitals built and upgraded: Maypen, Mandeville, Anthony Bay, St. Anne's Bay, Black River, KPH, Bellevue, Cornwall Regional Hospital, and Falmouth. 107 regional health authorities established to improve management of our healthcare system. Let us go on. 108 Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica, which part Andrew Holness now take and put in an office. 109 during PJ Patterson administration, information technology, IT, was promoted as a vital sector of the economy. 110 liberalization of the telecommunication sector enabled the introduction of additional service providers, which resulted in hundreds of thousands of cellular phones being available to all Jamaicans. 111 establishment of the Office of Utility Regulation. Me not stopping up because me just boasty. Me just look here. Me just happy and proud our PJ Patterson doing now. 112 liberalization and expansion of the media market, more TV and radio stations, and establishment of the cable industry. 113 Pass the Access of Information Act, right? Well, Darrell Vard's the Pass the Access of Information Act. That means whenever we want any sort of information, we can access this through AI, right? It is PJ Patterson creating transparency that anything that the common citizen want, the common citizen can process through AI and get that information. PJ Patterson has related to transparency and balance. 114, the establishment of the Central Information Technology Office. 115, establish the Universal Access Fund. Now the Universal Service. Oh, that's a PJ. What on it? Oh, that's a PJ. 18 years PJ. No. Oh, that's a PNP. No, do nothing. Now move on. 116, the establishment of the Sports Development Foundation. 117, stadiums built in Falmouth, Trelawney, Sligoville, St. Catherine, and Catherine Hall in Montego Bay. Many multi-purpose courts and community play fields were also built and upgraded. 118, the establishment of the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, what the Prime Minister have in his office. You understand? And I use it. You understand? To commit him wrongdoing. You understand? Also, the suppress information as it relates to investigate his wife. You understand? Property at lease flat. See there? NEPA. NEPA was established by PJ Patterson, not you, Andrew Holness. So we don't know how you take up PJ Patterson, something have it in your office. What a piece of outer ordinance. What a piece of outer ordinance. No, 119, creating the National Commission on Science and Technology in 1993 to accelerate rational development. 120, the establishment of culture, health, arts, sports, and education, the Chase Fund. 121, major housing expansion resulted in some 150,000 houses being built in 18 years up to 2007 through NHT joint ventures with private developers. Relocation 2000, Operation Pride, Indigent Housing Program, Sugar Sector Housing, Inner City Housing. 122, the establishment of the National Housing Development Corporation. 123, land ownership expanded through land titling, Operation Pride, Emancipation Lands Project. Now we get no land ownership and expanded through land title, and this government and them hold it down and give it to them big friend. When time pressure take them just give out 1 and 2 people for not make it look bad. But you see that most of the land they give to them friend, most of the crown land they give to them friend. Remember, it is PJ Patterson deal with that. Land ownership expanded through land titling, Operation Pride, Emancipation Lands Project. 124, the establishment of the National Solid Waste Management Authority. Right? Number 125, through the liberalization of the motor vehicle import policy, ordinary Jamaicans were now able to own a motor vehicle. 126, the establishment of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company. 127, new transport centers built at Halfway Tree and in Montego Bay. 128, the establishment of the National Work Agency. 129, the establishment of the Postal Corporation of Jamaica. No, 130, National Contract Commission was established 131 Office of the Public Defender was created. Now 132 Office of the Professional Responsibility, the Bureau of Special Investigation and the Public Complaints Authority was set up to monitor and investigate alleged police excess. 133 established the Corruption Prevention Commission. 134 implemented the Possibilities Program with the Care Center and a Skills Employment Center for children and youth living and working on the street. 135 expanded gender equity and enhanced family life through legislation such as Domestic Violence Act in 1996, Property Rights of Spouses Act 2003. We never know the PJ do all of them something there. Child Care and Protection Act 2004, legislation dealing with early childhood education and security of daycare center 2005. 136 created Emancipation Park for recreation and entrepreneurial activities such as markets, physical activities for children, walking or jogging, cultural and art activities and community events. 137 implemented the 2.5 billion Lift Up Jamaica Community Improvement Program, and there it is, Highway 2000, right? So when we take this away, right, and wear PJ Patterson and over the banner to Mama Portia. Now, let me ask a question. I feel proud. All of course, to watch me boost people, boost bump all them something they take me up. Now, let me ask a question now. I want Jamaican people Andrew Holness in government from 2016 until now. Me ask Jamaica question. Me ask the whole Jamaica. Me ask the entire world. Name me 10 things where Andrew Holness do. Me want the people in the chat. Me want the GLP people run out and come tell me 10 programs. Since we not talk how PJ Patterson in the 18 years, we see all of what PJ Patterson do. So I want Jamaican people now. Me want GLP to run out, right?
You make it too difficult. You can't say 10, say 5.
Yes, thank you, Anne-Marie, because I was about to say to him, why are you being so cruel to Andrew Holness? Start at 5. And you can even go down to 3. But be okay. 5. Give him 10 is too many, way too many. So we're going to start at 5.
We can play all of Andrew Holness promising. Everything what Andrew Holness promising. And we thought he has not delivered on one. He has not delivered on one. So True said, okay, all right, name 10 things. Now remember him, PJ Patterson, as it relates to programs over 150 yards. So then, oh, you want, right, to come mash up Andrew Holness with a PJ Patterson, right? So then you can't match him. You don't tell life on him. You can't match him in terms of what he had done, the success that PJ Patterson had. You understand the policies and programs being created, right? And I just want to ask an honest question for those who preparing for general election. When you look at that, in terms of what PJ Patterson had achieved, turn around and ask yourself, for all Jamaican people, right? Can you name 5 things that Andrew Holness had done? Name me 5 programs that Andrew Holness had done. That's all I'm asking. 5 programs. More people in the chat are any GLP were in the chat. You understand? Because when we talk, I don't talk to the comrades alone. You understand? We talk to everybody. So if any GLP in the chat, you understand, can remember, you understand, at least 5 programs, what Andrew Holness led government had done. Please, me a beg you know, let me know, right? So we are showing the evidence. Montague James said, Byron, when you are through with what PJ has done, you should list the policies of Andrew Holness, right, that stand out since he has been Prime Minister that has benefited the people of Jamaica. Well, I mean, one policy that PJ, that Andrew Holness had done is Section 53, subsection 3, passing the muzzle clause with the Integrity Commission. You understand? Andrew Holness had done that. You understand? He had implemented that policy. You understand? We deem that. You understand? As it relates to the muzzle clause with the muzzling the Integrity Commission investigators.
Putting gag orders on them, yeah, on his cabinet. But you talk about 5, you know. But here is the caveat to them coming up with 5 things that Andrew Holness and his administration came up with. It has to be 5 original ideas, not something that came from another administration that he's continuing. 5 original legislation, policy programs that he look at the Jamaican people and said, you know what happened? Yes. This is what I'm going to do to add to that which was done before me. And you know, since you're on the subject of Right Honorable PJ Patterson, his legacy is intertwined with the legacy of Michael Manley.
Yeah.
When the baton was passed to PJ Patterson, he took the baton.
Yes.
And he crafted and he charted a course for himself, building on the experience that he had gained through working with Michael Manley and Norman Manley, coming through those administrations. So he gained the experience. That is why experience in politics is very important. Andrew did not have enough experience in politics to become a prime minister. He did not. So he charted a course for himself based on all the experiences and the lesson he learned working in those other administrations and being a part of what it is and the legislation and the policy programs that they put forward that benefited the Jamaican people. So in crafting that now, he came and he started to now design his own legacy around service for the people, on behalf of the people, to the people. He didn't come out and say, you know what, I'm worried about my legacy. I want to know, right now I'm not worried about winning an election. I'm worried about, you know, what my legacy is. He never said that because he knew that history will write his legacy for him. But Andrew Holness come out and said that, you know, he's not worried about winning election, but he's worried about what his legacy is going to be. History is writing your legacy for you right now. SOEs and ZOZOs, violating the Constitution, right? Not being kind to the young people of the country that you're elected to serve. So when you talk about a PJ Patterson, you have to look at the whole picture, not just a part of it. Because it started somewhere. He was a part of other things that you cannot extricate. You cannot pull him away from it. You cannot separate him from it. He was there. He was part and parcel of it all. Okay? Yes. That is one. When you look at technology, it was Philip Paulwell who was Minister of Technology.
Minister of Technology.
Who widened the technological landscape in Jamaica, where cell phones were not introduced. So you see, everybody in the donkey cart, the hand cart man and the man that ride him donkey go bush has a cell phone.
Yes.
It's not because of Andrew Holness. It came from a PJ Patterson-led administration. Used cars, as you said. Ordinary Jamaicans now could have that, so they could leave people work, and many of them were farmers and they had the car and the truck and the this and the that, and they could carry their produce to the market and sell themselves instead of having to wait on the bus and do this. So the expanding the used car industry, creating the used car industry, benefited ordinary Jamaicans so they could buy a car. Many of them took it and run taxis and put their children through schools.
Yes.
Pay mortgages, buy a piece of land. So you see, those things came from a PJ Patterson. You look at the Highway 2000 that Edward Seaga condemned, right? But they're ready to name a highway after Edward Seaga. You should have choked because he's not deserving of that. He's not deserving of it. So when people are talking about he was the worst prime minister, I'm sure there are things that we can talk about that did not go so well during his administration. But the truth of the matter is he was not the worst prime minister Jamaica has ever seen. He brought a lot of good to the country. He did a lot of things that would have rather not happen, but stuff happened. He's a human being. He's not in Jesus. If they crucified Jesus, what says PJ Patterson? But to tarnish his name and say that that is sad and unfortunate, go and look at this man's record. But you cannot just look at his record in a vacuum, because he carried on a legacy that he inherited. He got the baton and he ran his race very well. He ran his race very well. And when he handed it off to Mama P, she did a wonderful job of crafting another legacy for herself. And it was people. It was people-centered. It wasn't person-centered like Andrew Holness is person. What can I get out of this? What can my friends get out of this? And it is not to say that those administrations did not have corruption and misappropriation. Of course they did. Did we see the level of corruption that we see now in any of those administrations? No, we did not. We did not. Because people, the leaders cared more about the people than the Andrew Holness administration. So I'd love to see. And the truth is, PJ Patterson at 90 look better than Andrew at 50, 52.
Maria.
He needs, kind of wicked, says sinners found him out.
Maria, I see some people here try to shape some things with what Andrew Holness had done. And I'm going to put it up. When you put it up and read through it, right? Honestly, he had done nothing, because he had created no policy in the sense that, okay, this is Andrew Holness' initiative, right? As it relates to comparing him with PJ Patterson. I'm going to put it up. He has not started nothing, not one thing. I'm going to put it up, let people see. So when people talking about Andrew Holness moving Jamaica forward what? The man has not created nothing for himself. Let us put it up and let the people see. Let us put it up. Right? Let us, and this is a shame. This is a shame. Let us put it up big. This is such a shame as a prime minister. Nothing that this man created, you understand, independently. Nothing that this man created, no initiative. No, the most Andrew Michael Holness, the most honor, Andrew Michael Holness is dedicated to Jamaica transformative development and the creation of an efficient and effective society in which all citizens, irrespective of their socio-economic status, can thrive. Right? Okay, well, that is his mandate. He is committed to fiscal responsibility, technological advancement, infrastructure development, social cultural reform, sustained peace and harmony, right? National resilience, and a universal acceptable minimum standard of living for all Jamaicans with the capacity to pursue opportunities of self-determination and personal success. This is not telling nothing what the Prime Minister has done. The Prime Minister won a straight history in 2011. I don't look what I'm talking about the Prime Minister. Right? The Prime Minister won a straight history in 2011 when at the age of 39, he became the youngest person to be elected Prime Minister of Jamaica and the first Prime Minister to have been born after independence in 1962. And let me read right as over blank. And the first Prime Minister to have an account into a Ponzi scheme SSL. Then if you put that in there. At just 25 years old, he was elected to the House of Representatives as a member of Parliament, right? Representing the constituency of the West Central Andrew. To date, he holds the record as the youngest elected MP. This is a policy? People, no, this is a policy. Now, he is currently serving 4 unbroken terms in the House, giving him more than 20 years of service as an elected representative. Some of them in Bandulo. Everybody know. Prime Minister Holness has held several high-level positions with both executive and legislative branches. Are these policies of the government of Jamaica which enable him to work in several key sectors, such as social welfare, community development, housing and education, right? I was trying to make him thieving friend, Rural Reid, rob up the people and money. Since taking over the leadership of the country in 2016, the focus of his government has been sustainable economic growth, meaningful job creation, right? When it's a meaningful job creation, now let me tell you something. But the meaningful job creation.
Stick up in, brother, Mystic. Listen to me. What you're reading there, you talk about sustainable fiscal discipline and fiscal, sustainable economic, whatever. You know that is coming from Portia Simpson administration. So this is not Andrew Holness. So stop read, please, and thanks. It's coming from Portia. So that's what I'm saying. What has he created? Apart from NIDS? And NIDS is a violation of the people's constitutional rights. If they don't want to take it, they don't have to take it. You can't force them to take it. And wanting them and wanting to do what? Cashless society, he has lost his cotton picking mind. Okay? No, come on, something more realistic. But here's the thing, Mystic. He became Prime Minister at the age of 39.
Yes.
That's why I said, with PJ had experience on his side. Andrew Holness did not have the benefit of experience to help him shape how he's going to lead. Yeah? So he just came and he became the kid in the candy store. So he wanted to taste all the candy in the store. And he tasted all the candy in the store. So he was more interested in, wow, what can I get? Gimme, me. And my friends that's what he became. The bull in the china shop. Okay? Because experience, he didn't have experience which teach wisdom to help formulate policies and legislation that would have been reflected in the way he governed and in the interest of the Jamaican people. It's not that. All you can hear is who building, and nobody not grudging for anything. Because the statutory declarations are yet to be certified, so that's a huge question mark there. Huge question mark. All right? So nobody envying for anything because we don't know how him get it, so nobody don't want it. Thank you.
Yes.
So when you're looking for things that you can attribute to him to say, yes, he did this. Yes, he did some things, but it's a continuation from that which he inherited. A continuation. And I have nothing against continuing what was done in an administration that worked well and continuing on that. Like the highways, it's a continuation of that. Okay, the PATH program, it's a continuation of something that came from the PJ administration to Portia onto him. So it's a continuation of that. Nothing is wrong with that. But what he has done, his original thoughts is Zozos, SOEs to use to manage crime as his crime fighting tool. You cannot use SOEs outside of insurrection, war, where you have to defend yourself, or natural disaster. But he's using it for crime. It is against the constitution of the country. You're violating the rights of the people when you do that. All right? That's what he's doing. So that is what you have to attribute to Andrew Holness. Anything else is coming from someplace else. Can we find some original legislation that he crafted that benefited the people themselves?
Look here.
But look at this. We can use the KSAMC as a model for when you spend taxpayers' money on taxpayers, things get done. I was talking to Fantastic Five this evening, and Fantastic Five said, "Oh my God, look what downtown Kingston clean. Oh my God, downtown Kingston cleaning." Huh? Yes. The mayor is spending the taxpayer money on taxpayer business. It's not supposed to be lying in people's pockets. It's not supposed to be feathering people, because all Feder was doing was feathering, right? And so you couldn't clean up the market. You couldn't do this for the people because what? He had to be paying his federals. And look what is happening now, where you have a mayor who believes in the rights of the people, who believe that the people deserve dignity in a clean market. Not because them a higgler doesn't mean they must sell what's near the sewer water. No, they still have some dignity, you know. It's an honest living that they're making, and every job is essential. Every person who works is important, because if you didn't have the garbage collector, it would all be stink. You see what I'm saying? So every person is valuable. Every person must be validated. Every person has worth. Every job is important. So here you have, I'm saying that to use it as a model to say, this is what happened when you spend taxpayer dollars and taxpayers. All the monies that they say they spend, this is a big spender government, you know, and they spend the most money in the history of the world. We don't see it translated on the ground. The minister says he spent the most money in the healthcare system, and the healthcare system is the bestest. But guess what? The hospitals are broken. You will not take in any more patients. So where did you spend that money? Education, yeah, we spend the most money in education, and we're going to create STEM schools and STEAM schools and all kind of schools. Instead of doing that, why don't you upgrade a school in the different parishes? At least have 1 or 2 schools upgraded to the STEM schools, so you don't have to build out another school for that. Why don't you pay the teachers better instead of trying to bring teachers in? Because when you bring the teachers in, you cannot pay them at the standard that you're paying the Jamaican teachers. So why don't you pay those Jamaican teachers that money? Why don't you pay the nurses that kind of money? Since you have that money to bring them in, why not just pay to them so they can stay? Why not give them better benefits? The same kind of benefits that you're going to give these teachers that you're bringing in. Why not give it to the Jamaican teachers? Give it to the nurses, give it to the police, give it to the soldier, give it to the public sector. Give it to them. So this is a government that only talks and talks and talks, because they have kept the people so uneducated. They said, you know, in the opening you talk about the guy and he was saying, oh yes, you know, the PNP love the poor because they keep them poor. No, they educated them. They made sure they could go to school, learn to read and write, because they know if they gave them an opportunity with an education, it was the key out of poverty. They know that if that person, there were students who could not manage academically. So what did they do? They created a national youth service, which students in high school participated in. What they use the high school students who, going back again to the PJ Michael Manley administration, they use the students who wanted to do their O-levels, A-levels, and they can teach, go back in the primary school and help the teacher to read and write. And so you always had a constant flow of people giving back, and helping to pull up the other person behind them. You don't have that now. You don't have that now. We had Jamal to help to teach people to read. In the schools, you had school savings, where you learn to save. And the teacher had the book, and you get a little bank book, and you're saving 1 cent and 5 cents and 3 cents and all those kinds of things. Where are those programs? So where's the investment in the young people? Where's the investment in the young people? Where are the skills training centers? We cannot only depend on hard. Where are the skills training centers within the communities to teach children, to teach young people the kinds of skills that are necessary for the workforce that is there right now? Everything is technologically driven. Where are the community centers to teach coding? Where are the community centers for young people to go out and learn? The government speaks about STEM, but cut back on UTech. There you go, Larkland. You see? Yeah. So you have to invest in education. You have to invest in vocational training. You have to invest in skills training.
Yes.
Those investments have to be made. But you cannot just be talking about we spend the most money. When you look at national security, we spend the most money on national security. We don't see it happening, brother man. So we cannot attribute these things to you. But you're talking about NINS. And if they don't do NIDS, they can't do this and they can't do that. The other day, the Social Security Minister came out and said what they're attaching NIDS to whatever benefits that they're getting. That's garbage.
Yes.
That's garbage. All they need is a non-driver's license ID. That's all. You have those who have them driver's license, and you have those who can't drive and they just want a non-driver's license ID. You don't need all this NIDS with your eye, this and your fingerprint. You don't need all that information. So he's not doing things, Mystic Sensation, that benefits the people in a real way. He's doing lofty things that just waste money. Just a waste of money because he spent $1.5 billion on a job description for parliamentarians that he can cut and paste off the internet for free.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, Maria, somebody before we finish. Before we finish, Andrew Holness. This person said, "What about the STEM program?" So let us go to show people that okay, Andrew Holness is not right the originator for the STEM program, right? He actually copying someone's idea. Let us show the evidence, right? Because I don't want because them believe me about bash me, but we have to show the evidence. All right, let us lift up that evidence so that I can answer that person who said who posed what about the STEM program? Who started the STEM program? Yes. Let us show, right? If you look here, right? Let me just bring up that and show the person. The origin of STEM education, right? Driven by current and future shortages in the STEM workforce, many education system and policy makers around the globe are preoccupied with the advancing competencies in STEM's domain. But what does the STEM stand for? The acronym STEM was coined in 2001 by Judith A. Ramaley of the National Science Foundation, USA, and replaced the previously used acronym SMET, Sanders 2009. Take that away. Right? So then, that goes to show you that this is Andrew Holness, right? You know, copying other person idea, right? And trying to reshape it. You understand? So what we want Andrew Holness to do, not to reshape people's idea, particularly in first world country. Create, you understand, fundamental policies out of your head, like PJ Patterson had done it, you understand, and definitely have certain challenge it through the lower house, right, the upper house, and have them, you understand, in legislations, right? So then that is what Andrew Holness need to do. Let us put up the document because we're not making a escape, you know. You understand? So we have to show, right, that Andrew. Yes. All right. So let us
make sure it's sharing.
Okay. All right. We want to make sure that share. Okay.
Yeah.
So here, people, let us read. Right. Since taking over leadership of the country in 2016, the focus of this government has been sustainable economic growth, right? Meaningful job creation, and that definitely come from Portia Simpson. After Portia Simpson passed the 8th consecutive IMF test, and where Portia Simpson deal with sustainable economic growth, we can bring up that document and show you. So him now they take something for Portia. You understand? Meaningful job creation, building out Jamaica housing sector for those with the purchasing power as well as those who are vulnerable. Aye, people. Now here's what I'm saying. You understand? In commit atrocity here saying meaningful job creation, building out Jamaica housing sector for those with purchasing power as well as those who are vulnerable. We don't see on the Jamaica Labour Party government where vulnerable people are getting, you understand, any form of contribution from NHT, right? A lot of based on what Andrew Holness had done, right? Take billions of dollars and give it to him friend, right? Dex him, right? We remember that. and take the NHT money and put it in a SSL, right? And show them the ordinary people, like the donors who they donate to NHT from God, he knows when, right? Andrew Holness mash up this. This is what he wrecked. These objectives are supported by a concerted trust towards Jamaica emerging as the first digital society in the Caribbean. Now, nobody talk about no digital society, you know, because Supreme Court no block it. The Supreme Court, as it relates to...
So it said it was unconstitutional. It was unconstitutional. But you know, he has no respect for the Constitution, so that means nothing to him.
So I don't know where the Prime Minister... you understand the facts about this, you know? The Prime Minister always has been at the forefront, leading and driving the discussion on policies on national, regional, and international platform on the issue of climate change. Lord Jesus. The most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness is a man of compassion and dialogue who believes in partnership with SSN and inclusiveness as it relates to awarding contracts to Gavin. You understand? As it relates to him being in you know, I take the foolishness for me. You take the foolishness for me because this is foolishness. I want.
But Mystic. He wants to do NIDS and he wants to do cashless society.
Yes.
When they're stealing the people's money from the banks. Many people, and you cannot have a cashless society, you know, without a functioning internet structure. So how would that work? You know, because I am not a computer whiz. I'm not a technological whiz. I can do my work with my computer, you know, what I need for myself, I can manage. But I'm thinking to myself, if you're going to have a cashless society, isn't there a lot of investment into internet, broadband and all that you need, that kind of infrastructure? So if the people don't have road in them community, I understand the cell phone system and how that works, because you have to put up towers and how that works, that I understand. But the internet, and so many people cannot read. So many young people cannot read. How are they going to really navigate around this new cashless society that Andrew talking about? You know, so say Andrew a madman. He's not thinking with the, you know, he's not thinking logical things through. He's not thinking things through to a logical conclusion. He's just flying by the seat of his pants. And a little thing coming in head, he just flick it out there. You see? So Larkland, I went to very technical and make very good income as an engineering leader. There you go, because I went to CC and we had a TD department, woodwork department, all those kinds. So within the high schools, you had certain departments that a child could go and learn technical skills, vocational skills. You understand me? And outside of the high schools, for those who weren't able to go to high schools and went to the junior secondary or secondary high schools, as some they were upgraded to from junior secondary to secondary and then high schools. They had the, you know, the vocational and the skills training. So young people were always occupied. Very few young people you would find in any community that was not occupied. Very few. Very few. So you didn't have crime getting out of control the way it is now, because the young people are not occupied. They're not occupied. Yeah, Mystic, they say Portia was not educated, but she saved the country. Well, it's true. I always said that. You see, and that is the thing, that they're so disrespectful when people talk about them, you know, they don't want to be political. A lot of people talk about when they don't want to be political. Slammed Portia in the worst possible way when they were supporting Andrew Holness to be Prime Minister. Your mic, Mystic.
Yes. Just like what Montague James said, Mystic, they say Portia was not educated, but she saved the country when Bruce and Ardley Shaw destroyed the financial sector, which is so true. But again, right, and I'm going to, for Friday, I'm going to preview and show that Portia Simpson was educated, right? Portia Simpson was educated, right? Because Portia Simpson attained her bachelor's degree and so forth and so forth, right? Now, let us get into, and before I get into the next topic, because we have roughly what 3 more topic, and then we close off for the night. So let us
I'm going to leave you in about 5 minutes because I have a doctor's appointment first thing in the morning, 8 o'clock. So
you know, I don't want Maria to because we have to preserve you, you know.
I need to come on this platform on a Tuesday, man. Come hang out with the chat and you and Murray and things. So, you know, yeah, man. God bless you, and we'll talk tomorrow. And to everybody in the chat, have a blessed and restful night and a wonderful week ahead. But we'll talk. All right. Thank you very much,
Sister Maria. All right. So let us get into right. We know that the People's National Party had won the KSMAC. And we are looking forward as it relates to, yes, investigation need to pursue by Swaby. And a lot of persons are talking about that, but I want to explain certain things because Swaby is on his way to do all of that, right? So we are going to talk about that. Now, to the fact that Swaby, right, you know, although, right, is the mayor for KSMAC, right? He cannot just proceed as it relates to investigation like that because investigation is going to need a budget. And you know that the Jamaica Labour Party government is not going to give him that, right? So people need to have an understanding where that is concerned. When that can be done, right, is of course when the People's National Party win, right, the government. Right, so people who are asking about why they are not seeing any forensic audit and so forth and so forth and so forth. Remember now, it is the Jamaica Labour Party is in government, is in who control the public purse, and they are not going to fund that. You understand, to make Swaby do that investigation. But Swaby is serious and it is going to be done. Let us show you now what Swaby is doing. All right, let us bring up this document and show what Swaby is doing. Right, Swaby is very serious, and we know that a lot of bangarang is going to happen, right, as it relates to a new government in power who is going to give and finance that forensic audit. Now, let us get into it. Now, the video. Okay, yes. Let us play the video and listen to how Swaby is checking for compliance. Let us play that.
Mayor of Kingston. Well, I've always said that we are going to take a multi-agency approach, look at some of the issues and the challenges downtown. We're here with National Solid Waste Management Authority, the Tax Administration of Jamaica, the Kingston St. Andrew Public Health Department, the Fire Brigade, and our own compliance team, and the JCF also is here with us. What we are doing we are going to these small businesses, we are seeing if they are compliant with their trade licenses, and I must say that we are on Orange Street today, and 68% of them are compliant in that regard, and there is a 32% that we have to target to make sure they have become compliant. This National Solid Waste Management Authority have gone in also to check on if they have a valid contract with a reputable service provider to move their garbage away. And we have seen that some are and some are not doing it. The commercial aspect of the National Solid Waste Management Authority have been engaged in talking to them to make sure that they enter into a contract with National Solid Waste Management Authority, because you must remember that the National Solid Waste Management Authority primary responsibility is to take away domestic garbage. So these are commercial garbage. Because it's unfair for them to put out their garbage on the road to make sure they hold the National Solid Waste Management Authority time in terms of cleaning their garbage when they could be in the communities cleaning up the garbage for the residents who their primary focus is to clean. We have also looked where the fire brigade have checked on their safety of the workers and of the customers also, and they have identified some challenges, and what they have said, they have outlined the challenge to them, making sure that they have fire extinguishers, some simple things that they are making. And the public health department has looked at their portable water and make sure their bathrooms are flushing and those things. And also where we have gone into food establishment, making sure that they have their food handlers permit.
I'm sure this will not be a 9-day wonder.
It's not a 9-day, it can't be a 9-day wonder. We have a sustainable thing. We are on the road. We won't be telling persons when they are coming, because our experience has been is that sometimes these managers, they don't make themselves available to talk to us. So we'll be here for more than 1 day or 2 days per week. We are concentrating on downtown now, but we are going right across Kings at St. Andrew.
You notice that you have faced some language barriers while doing your tour. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, we have faced some language barriers, and I am a bit perturbed about that, because some of the time you'll be talking to them, and when they realize what you come about, all of a sudden they don't speak the language. I myself have already gone and have a discussion with the Chinese ambassador to sensitize him some months ago that this is what we are going at, so we're not discriminating. What we are going to all establishments to make sure that these persons are compliant.
Finally, the 32% that is non-compliant, what's the approach that we take?
Well, the ones that will be having a continuous drive, but also what we have done, the persons from TAJ and from our own compliance department have served a notice on them, and we are coming back within a reasonable time to make sure that they make the wrongs right.
How many notices that you would have served here today?
Well, I can't indicate right now at how many notices we have done. We'll be doing a debriefing afterward, because what we have done, we have split up the team, about 4 teams out there, so I wouldn't have that information right on me just now.
Thank you.
All right, people, there you have it. So anyone who have the idea, believing that, right, Swaby is easing up. No, Swaby is talking about compliance, checks and balance, and ensuring that who's supposed to be compliant, right, that they are compliant. And this is what we talk about, a breath of fresh air, right, when it comes to checks and balance. So there's Swaby doing a physical auditing, right, walk and make sure that he check that people are staying in the guidelines, right, as it relates to, right, the rules and regulation, right? So there is Mayor Swaby very active in holding people accountable, right? So that is proof that Mayor Swaby is not wasting any time. Mayor Swaby, a man from out of the race, right? Mayor Swaby is working. Congratulations, Mayor Swaby, and continue to hold as it relates to checks and balance. This is not Delroy Williams, who have been there and allowed 32% of whosoever to be non-compliant. So now those 32% of persons who were non-compliant, you have seen where Mayor Swaby, if you've noticed, and warn them that on the next approach, right, you better be compliant. So this is not Delroy Williams, right? New leader, new business, checks and balance, taxpayers' money are spent. Now, let us get into how we're talking about, you understand, when we're talking about checks and balance. Now, look on this issue that I am going to draw in reference to the clip that we just played. Let us find this clip. East Central. All right. Yes, people, checks and balance is the order of the day. Good governance to ensure that we get that representation politics that we so needed. Yes, let us get into this.
No, I'm saying to Minister Taylor, this is not a job for profiling and hyping. This is a job for actually getting the work done. We are within a very narrow window where works can still be effective. I am instructing you, the funds that have been allocated for the people of East Central St. Catherine are not your personal slush fund. Get on the ground, and if you require me to send you the locator pins to where these drains are, then say so. You either do the work or call it quits from now. The people of East Central St. Catherine deserve better than you have been providing. including canals, which have to be properly maintained to mitigate against flooding. Late last year, with rainfall incomparable to what we are likely to get from Hurricane Beryl, this entire field and the Southborough community behind me was flooded. Now, when you listen to the news, you hear it from the Prime Minister, you hear it from Minister Desmond McKenzie. Contingency funds have been provided to members of Parliament to remove debris from drains such as this to clean the place. There is a tree, an acacia tree is growing in the gully. No, I'm saying to Minister Terry Long, this is not a job for profiling and hyping. This is a job for actually getting the work done. We are within a very narrow window where works can still be effective. I am instructing you, the funds that have been allocated for the people of East Central St. Catherine are not your personal slush fund. Get on the ground, and if you require me to send you the locator pins to where these drains are, then say so. You either do the work or call it.
Because, yes, okay. So this is what we're talking about, right? As it relates to, right, how these people behaving, right? And we have to hold them accountable, people, right? We have to hold them accountable, because here is Terry Long, as it relates to Andrew Holness, you understand, being issuing out, right, the contingency funds. So what Terry Long is doing, right, with his portion, obviously you have seen the evidence that nothing has been done. So these are the issues that we are highlighting, right? Yes, I mean, look, people voted for you, right? And you need to represent the people well, right? When you have torrential rainfall, right, you leave the people that they can be flooded out. And yes, these are the people who voted for you, and yet you're not working, right? So we have to show these things, checks and balance we are talking about. And we are glad for social media, you understand, to highlight several of these things. This is a new paradigm, you know. You understand? This is a new paradigm as it relates to checks and balance. Social media is here, you understand, to create a checks and balance space. You understand? So whether you have PNP or GLP, if you're not working, if you're not there to represent people, don't bother with the politics. You understand? The dinosaurial politics is not working again. You understand? This is checks and balance era, right? And we have to make, we have to ensure of that. Now let us get into our final 3 clips and deal with this issue. Now, let us get into when we talk about checks and balance now. Because let me tell you something. Let me tell Jamaica this. Andrew Holness will not make it when we talk about a statutory declaration, right? Not able to certify. This is a very serious issue. Extremely serious issue, right? And we are seeing now that even donors, a lot of JLP donors are now saying that they are not going to donate to the party unless they have an understanding of the illicit aid, right? So Jamaica Labour Party is imploding right in every area. You have Jamaica Labour Party donors who are now saying that they are not going to donate, you understand, until the illicit aid checks and balance at some point in time. You understand? We must be accounted for as it relates to this. Now, let us get into this situation as it relates to Andrew Holness. You understand? Wanting to hold persons, right, accountable while he doesn't want to be accountable. Let us look at this.
Okay.
All right.
When they update like that, it doesn't come up like
all right, yes.
That's this one.
Yeah. All right, so stand by for that clip. All right. So yes, while wife is searching for that clip, yeah, we're talking about checks and balance. We have to make sure that the government, we hold the government to account, right? Could we double click on that and make that come up?
No, it won't share like that.
Okay.
I need to figure out.
So we need to hold the government accountable where that is concerned, right? Okay.
Comrade Richard Azan built 11 shops in Spalding. He built the shops because he saw what his women were going through selling in the market. And he decided to say it now go so. And so he built those shops to liberate the people and to improve their circumstances. And when the Integrity Commission investigated him, Andrew Holness said he will not sit in Parliament as long as Richard Azan is there. Andrew Holness said Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller was presiding over a corrupt government because there was a man sitting in Parliament who built some shops without parish council permission to help his people. Where is it justice now that he hides those 6 people? Where is it justice now that he tells us as Prime Minister he does not know who they are? Turn up the thing. Turn up the thing. Turn up the thing.
All right. So let us end it tonight as it relates to the crime shame in terms of, Andrew Holness. Obviously, being a dictator, right? And he believed that, he can do and no one else cannot do, right? And wanting to hold people accountable while doesn't want to hold himself accountable. All right. So just let us look as it relates to the Azan clip, right? Yes, caller. You're on the line. Go ahead.
No, Charlie,
Wagwan, you ready? All right.
I don't know if you talk about that because too long we come back after the program start.
Okay.
But my input is back to JPS. That little fool something they come up with. Examine and bill.
Yes.
But we never touch for that. My question here. Have we ever checked that JPS is a little you call it scamming? Or outright bare-faced thief?
No, they're outright bare-faced scamming that go on with JPS, billing people, padding people bill. There's no two way about that.
But how can you be running a company, right? And you're supposed to be spending money in order for your business run. So how can JPS be running a company and the oil that they buy, the customer pay for the fuel, the customer pay for the energy, and the customer pay for both the wattage, energy, or whatever, all the kind of something, everything that JPS does, the customer have to pay for it. So what JPS spend in the company if you make the company or keep the company running?
That's true. Well, we have seen that Beryl show them up, right?
Why? Them people are wicked.
Exactly.
And we can't believe in the life of me that my government sit down. Because we don't blame just Andrew party. This I think Philip Paul will them arrange that foolishness here.
Yes.
Right? We need one little demonstration because we can't afford that. You can't tell me say you must run a taxi. You come to my taxi and I'm going to tell you, say, in order to get the drive, you have to pay the taxi fare to go where you go. I'm going to gas station this morning, go buy gas, so you have to pay me for the gas where I run the taxi.
But that is part of incorporated in the.
No, you can't go some.
But Uriel, when it comes to the utility companies, the customer is going to absorb the cost of the fuel because we have to pay it here as well. But it's the cost that the company in Jamaica is buying it at. It's a ridiculous, or whatever they're charging you for.
Yes.
It's just ridiculous. But you're expected to absorb the cost of the fuel and all of those things because we have to do it here.
Yeah.
But at least we have companies that we can, if we're not satisfied with this one, then we go to the next one. The problem in Jamaica is the monopoly.
Yes.
There's no competition here in Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm a charge for the light post and whatever put up back and because of the hurricane. So.
All right.
I don't know how somebody bill can move from $23,000 for last month.
Yes.
And this month it reached 98,000.
And they never have any light.
And we never have no light for 3/4 of the time. I no light at all.
Exactly. So, I mean, of course, right? And remember, that was Andrew Holness 2015 campaign promise. You understand that he will bring in bigger companies, bigger energy companies, right? Right, to reduce the pressure from the people. And here is Andrew Holness healthcare. Listen, it's just people just to need to keep informed and just do the right thing, right? We tired of this government. And you're going to tell me Andrew Holness from 2016 to now, right, have no fundamental programs that he implemented. You understand? On his own initiative. Crazy.
The man of budget too, you know. I tell you, say, Mr. Mark Golden, all the ideas when you have around the country can come to we implement them.
Can you imagine? Crazy, man. It's honestly crazy. And Uriel, this is the man who have no programs as we speak. And this is the man that taking 200 and 300% raise. What a wickedness. What a wickedness. Eh? PJ Patterson, who have so much programs implemented. So much programs implemented. Didn't do that. Portia Simpson, who have so much programs implemented. Didn't do that. Michael Manley, who have so much programs implemented. Didn't do that. And of course, Edward Philip Siaga, right, implemented programs, right, and didn't do that. Because Siaga had implemented programs too, right? Alexander Bustamante implemented programs too. Norman Manley implemented programs. And the man, you understand, who have no programs implemented, so to speak, are limited programs. Let us try to save him. Limited programs is aim take 200 and 300% rate. You know, say someone a criminal. Exactly. Yeah, I'm not forgive him that.
That's
all right. Every law.
With the Constitution.
Well, guess what? The DPP, right, is going to stay out of the office. You understand? Because she wanted to stay in the office. You understand? Is to save Andrew Holness as it relates to his statutory declaration. You understand? Unable to be certified. And the SSL saga. Those are the two primary items why the DPP wants to stay in office. You understand? To make sure that SSL doesn't reveal, you understand, all the snakes in SSL. And to protect the Prime Minister as it relates to his statutory declaration cannot be certified. But we have news coming for them, man. right? Well,
Because I don't know what kind of stupid charges they were bring by so senior citizens. We're supposed to get a pension.
But where's the new commissioner of police? Where is he?
yes, somebody asks as it relates to the commissioner of police. We are not seeing the commissioner of police. What is going on?
Retired.
Because even in these major incidents, we should have seen the commissioner of police coming out, you understand, speaking on these major issues. We are not seeing the commissioner of police. What is going on there, Uriel? Can you tell me? Oh.
Just get the job and start leave already.
You don't understand. He just got the job.
Jesus, the contract, the way I'm saying.
Something no look right. Something no look right. Right? We are the commissioner of police missing in action, it seems.
No, but even leave as a commissioner, you were supposed to come over leave just to continue with this case and get up.
Porridge boss, Fitzbailey is the commissioner of police. He want look like that because of Fitzbailey on the front line addressing these issues.
What are we can set up people then?
Oh Jesus! All right, brother, you're right. No man, we have to checks and balance and forensic audit. All of them things they have to go on. All right, big up yourself. All right. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come.
The last clip.
Yeah?
The last clip.
Oh, which one?
The clips. Well, we not clips.
Okay, all right. Yes. Let us play the last clip for the night as it relates to the Prime Minister. Want to hold people accountable. And at the same time,
you don't feel comfortable. We don't feel comfortable sitting in Parliament with a Minister of Government who was openly accepted responsibility, who expresses no regret for the act, where a Commissioner of Parliament has confirmed that the act is corrupt and has referred it for prosecution, and that minister shows no sign of wanting to resign, or the Prime Minister showing no signs of moving to dismiss the minister.
With all the sympathy that one can have for support, this is embarrassing, not only to the government as a party, not only the PNP, but to the government, to Jamaica, to all of us. Our heads bow this morning with this sort of reaction.
So we have to take firm actions in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence and in which the institutions of the society are all agree that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith and has breached the confidence that the people have placed in them. I believe that this has the potential, if it continues, to bring down the entire government.
Now, my Jamaican people, right? As we speak, we know that the Jamaican public had lost trust and confidence in Andrew Holness, based on the fact that, number one, the Prime Minister's statutory declaration cannot be certified, right? And here he is, decided that he's not going to continue in Parliament, you understand, with another member of Parliament was according to him, right, openly breach. Here is the Prime Minister now, people. Here is the Prime Minister, right? Where he spoke about that the Jamaican people lost trust and confidence. So we want to know now if the Jamaican people have trust and confidence in Andrew Holness while he's still there. Right? Why he's still there. Know that Jamaican people lost all the trust and confidence in Andrew Holness, right? And it is not a dark day. It is not a dark day.
An eclipse.
Right? So these are the sort of corruption that we are that we have to contain with. Right? And we have to send this man a message, because obviously this man is saying to us that he's a dictator. You understand? He can do all what he had done as today to the level of corruption. Right? And he's not holding to checks and balance. Right? We can't ask him, right, to resign and leave. Right? Just like what he had done to Azan. And this is the clear situation that show you that Andrew Holness is a dictator. Blatant Corruption, the discontinuation of the hedging as well as the pulling out from the Petro-Carib agreement are complicating the cost of the fuel. This is iniquitous, which is very true, Welton. You understand? Because look, remember, you know, Venezuela used to at least give us cheaper oil. Right? Venezuela used to do that. Right? And Andrew Holness, it goes back to when you have a weak leader. Right? Andrew Holness, under the influence of Donald Trump, people need to remember this. You know, this is one of the reasons why we are paying the consequence where JPS is concerned. Right? Andrew Holness, under the influence of Donald Trump, pull out from Venezuela. And now, look at what is happening now. USA now rejoin now with Venezuela. Now getting the island left out Jamaica out of it. Leave Jamaica out of it. Can Andrew Holness go back there? No. It is going to take a PNP government, you understand, to have any form of dialogue, you understand, with the Venezuelan to get back in there. Look what Andrew Holness had done. Right? Everything that he touches is disastrous for the country. Everything. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to, for the last thing, I want to show, right, because I forgot totally to show, right, what MP Alan is doing in the St. James constituency, right? Some back to school program, right? Because, you know, the Jamaica Labour Party candidate that relates to Oris and all other member of parliament, right, in the St. James region, they are not doing any back to school, and yet they are getting the big bucks. They are getting the 200 and 300%, and yet you have, right, the opposition candidate that is doing all these work. So let us just show some of the situations that Alan is doing as it relates to St. James people. Alan is doing a lot of work in his constituency, and I want to say big congratulations to Alan. So let us do it. Here it is, a back to school treat, right? August 28, 2024, right, at 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., right? So
at the golf playing field.
At the golf playing field. So people who live in that area, right, and who need to you know, participate in this, right, or be benefited from this situation, please note that Alan is doing the back to school treat, right, August 28th, right, at the golf playing field. That is not the only thing that Alan is doing. Let us go through series of events that Alan is doing there. Here it is again, Northwest St. James constituency kiddies back to school treat again. And this is Thursday, August 29, right, for ages 3 to 6. What a wonderful thing, right? At the Grants Basic School. So people who in that vicinity and who need to be benefited you understand, from what Alan is doing as it relates to the back to school treat, please make sure you are present there. Big up yourself, Brother Alan. Let us go into the next, right? Several programs Alan is running into the constituency. Northwest St. James constituency, Kiddies Back to School treat. Again now, Saturday, August 24, 2024, time 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Salt Spring, Bottom Road, Bar Ground. Right? Ages again, 3 to 6. So for persons, right, who need to be benefited, right, please note the time here, right? And make sure you're being there to be benefited as it relates to the back to school treat. And you see, this is what we're talking about when we talk about, and let us, yeah, because we don't finish yet. Here's another one again. Northwest St. James constituency, Kiddies Back to School treat. August 27, Tuesday, August 27, 2024 at 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. ages 3 to 6, Norwood Basic School. And this is such a wonderful thing that Alan Bernard, right, MP candidate, right, is doing, right? Big up yourself also, Flight V, Hitchman, JP, right? Yes, working together to make it happen. So people who need to be benefited, right, take their children along 3 to 6 and make sure you're going into the respective areas at the respective time and being benefited, right? All right, so that is it for us tonight. Once again, Alan, we said big thanks to you, right, to, you know, representation politics. We love that. We love what you're doing. Continue to keep up the good work, Brother Alan. All right? Okay. Yes, and we will also be highlighting them Friday as well to remind those persons who, you understand, can be benefited from these programs, right? Make sure that they go and be benefited, right? Yes, there is, you know, we are at the end of the program. We want to say big thanks for all the persons who passed through. We really appreciate, we really love you because you love us, right? And we are pushing the energy. At the end of the day, we are here pushing for good governance and making sure that we hold the government accountable. We are talking about representational politics. From once we put you in, right, Parliament, we expect for you to perform on the people's behalf, not on your personal behalf, where we have seen our treasury under crisis from pilfering, nepotism, cronyism, and skullduggery. Yes, Carla, you're on the line. Go ahead.
Good night.
Hi, sister.
Tuesday.
Blessings.
Tuesday.
You know, some missy want something where bother me today.
Yes.
I don't know if you see, because I don't feel so well, but I watch the program and in here. Read. Cruel thief in Read.
Mm-hmm.
The AA conference with Flavor Williams and Enders. All right, please remember the speech.
Can you imagine?
Gracious God. Can these people get lower than this?
No, they can't.
Mighty God of Daniel. One day, Mr. Holness, Honorable Prime Minister, if you now watch the program long, somebody I watch it for you, I will watch it. When last you want that check for your mental problem. No, this is to me, Mr. This is more than dictated. I don't know what kind of adjective to describe this. You have a man with charge for almost $1 million. It depends news, they are about. It case not closed. And you know, having a politics meeting and then you go have it address the JDA.
Crazy.
No,
Teachers
what
don't get
is
up and walk
really
out.
this? We see man up a Portland, Dean Jones, run down man before election and back on. He still runs as councillor. Kim Brown Lawrence with Ted Redweed. We still have case before court to run as counter stay away. And now this man charge. And I say I'm not charge. And I say people are making up again. It is written in the supported a cleaner.
Yes, man. The case is in court right now.
When they try to the sheet over his face and carry people. He got a court and he must put up there railway. And you have this man and bring him up in the limelight again.
Birds of a feather will always flock together.
Well, my wife said birds of a feather will always flock together. You understand that? That is a big endorsement, you know, to say that they all endorse is criminal. That's what they're saying to us.
So Jamaican people, labor right, PMP, labor right. Want this on blind? Look how we education structure suffer. And the man mash up it. And you put him back. We start him up where now. And we can tell Jamaican people, wake up. Open your eye. With that march out there now. We not block the road. We not burn up the road. But we need to walk out of the big work parliament. With the placard, instead, don't even have a knife. We don't want to have nothing. And in my life, those who don't have just the placard.
Yes. It goes to show you, my sister. The Jamaica Labour Party has no shame. Them shame street dead. Them shame street dead.
Me say them is like a dog, them one vomit. And I to them, voila. Brother, me never know say, but in my right mental mind, this is Jamaica. Really come to this. We understand say we have little hickory and little this kind of the straight. But never like this. Never.
Never like this, sister.
Never. If you look back, mixed it. In a PMP time, when one member of parliament by the government in the party, quick time, years 10, he resigned, they asked him to step down or whatever. If he get fired, he might get fired same time. And if man, and sometimes you know want to look over, you have to excuse. And go back. This party never put nobody back. He never fired nobody.
You shuffle like a domino game.
Then if you could dot him and about that one. We are endorsed for the third history because the Holness and the Labour Party is the best party for the country. When you have a criminal, then fix me the quote about that, but they are more scared. If this guy to make a house of parliament for the right side, they are the gang member with criminal.
That's no joke.
No criminal.
That's no joke.
Criminal.
Right. So sometimes I find it really strange why this government has searched for scammer. Why they not just carrying themselves and just lock up themselves?
But they might behave like a domino game. They might play every time something happens. And keep reshuffling.
25 million if call people name. Even if you say now, who want to make a go say something happen? You know, but you try to defend yourself. Huh?
Why? Sister? Terrible.
But me know say, come on, I go in America. I'm not holding I go in Jamaica.
Well, I mean,
any minute, any second when that happens, there is hope.
We need some semblance of sanity back in the
yes.
world. As far as me concerned, it's pure madness going on. Right is wrong and wrong is right. That's what me see going on now.
Alternative truth.
And your Holness, your inner go bitter.
Lord jeez.
No bitter, no God, nothing. Not let you compare your bitterness where you go down with. And you're going to suffer. You're going dead and slow death.
No doubt, my sister.
Atrocity we are bring down on Jamaica and Jamaicans, home and abroad.
The worst prime minister ever.
I will suffer it.
And no joke, no hesitation about that.
You pick me. And next thing I ask myself, and I'm saying this to the whole globe now, Does Andrew Holness have a auntie alive? A grandaunt alive? A brother? Cousin? Even a far away cousin? We can sit him down and say, look at my cousin. Look at my nephew. Look at my grandparent, whatever. What is happening is wrong.
You can't reason with a narcissist.
Where is his mother? His mother is alive and sent is intact. This should not talk to our son and show him, say, look here, brother, me birth you, me bring you come here. You're a big man now, but what you're privileged to be the prime minister. But what you're doing is wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. How can you have a child where you cannot speak to? You know, no family. I just him wife and two people. When you come here? When born from? When family?
Well, I don't think him born, I think he hatch. More of a reptile.
Somebody wife there will pass. When they can, the 12 billion can, he might try something.
Well,
no matter how cruel you be and you think, these things, you have to do that. In the eyes of the people, you still want to vote for you and people still have vote for you. Jamaican people, anytime you know what the labor, you know, fingers, just turn on the cap and can't move.
Trust me.
Wicked. Wicked. Look at what we did. Big disgrace coming on our country. Big disgrace people. Man, have to show a sheet up and fierce.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
But I can't believe the people them really sit down there and listen to him.
Exactly.
Sit down and listen to him.
Anyway, mistake, and one thing we can do is continue to pray and praise solemnly.
Bless.
So my Jamaican people, home and abroad, we have to let us pray and hope. And when we are pray divinely, solemnly, God answer prayer. No matter how you see that go, He will answer the prayer. Jamaica becomes a hub of coke and gun and gangster mafia starting from the highest rank. And then coke come to Jamaica. I don't know. But
Well,
never like so blatant.
Exactly.
No so blatant.
Well,
No so blatant anymore. It a come and it was on that more still a come. And they just don't care.
Well, you see, them take time at each up back with the UL read. You soon see Dalrymple come out to, you know, just a matter of time. You soon see Dalrymple come out.
It don't be them come out. And that's the realize it goes them and take them and
Yeah, man, they might take time crowd out, man.
some garlic.
Halloween coming.
Come, so we have the garlic for them.
Me don't know if a true Halloween will come up.
Yeah, watch the TV and I say, Pat more. Send a strong message.
Oh, yes.
You see?
Yes.
Pat more send us, the people them send us. Not in the history of Jamaica. I never see me people say, them never see someone pay that the part of the church yet.
Yes.
Yet. And it was on that divisional conference. My God, mistake.
All right,
What's
sister.
wrong with Jamaica?
I don't know,
We
sister.
never know the Jamaica dream what we used to have when we grow up. I want to be a police. I want to be a nurse. I want to be this. And you look at them and you feel so good and you grow with that pride and that dignity. You go to school and you teach and you just know that you want to see class. To school door because there is no future for them.
Terrible.
How much people in Jamaica study and do them work and how much see and Sarah and then can't get a good payable job. Who know each up in a hotel and put up bed and I think dirty time after your hands a phone call. Hello.
You have children. You have children leaving university, my sister, with even masters. And can't find any job. It's crazy.
When you look serve as soldier, he might get pension. He come back, he serve as commissioner of police, he might get pension. He come back, he might go somewhere because me say, Google Gaga got an ambassador. It's a no, all them are stupidness there. And we are so much people. That's why them nobody want focus on school. Because them are still until then. See, me it's a let that Desmond Mackenzie. Me don't know one team, nobody now hear from him. But me can't tell you, say, only if you see, we are going to have a whole heap of by-election and before election call. Because none of them are go. And who now go, me go line up on him back. With the young up and can't say, can't do nothing. Who now stroke and get something else. Right? And then I resign. So if one part-time parliament that will be generally when they call it all part where you have the people in there put on pampas for member of parliament.
There should be an age limit.
And foolish then.
As to how long they can serve. There should be some age limit.
Well, it is what it is, sister. It is what it is.
You can't have senile people that make decisions for the country.
So the only thing that we have going for us is people need to understand the decision that they need to make, right, when it comes to that election day. We just need to just go and just do the thing, right? And then we speak after that. That's all if you know. So we need to focus on that. So that is what we are focusing on right now. You understand? Continue to educate our people.
In my little community, the other day, me and 2 man back out there. When we say back, we are talking about paper and labor and what they do. So we are one shop where our man go. But then people assemble play 2 games and go. So we tell them about Mystic Sensation. I introduce them to loan some aromatic. I introduce them. This stick will not go wild. Every night the people know I want to know the band. One I think I was Friday night. When you are revealed.
Thank you, my sister.
Reload the trend. Me as a man say, PC, BC, why you say that? And the man got near up to the TV. And I said, you know, what's that too? Remember when me a young man and so and so. And right now, no work going on. The work we're going to do right now for this country, they can't pay on. They can't pay on. They can't pay on.
Thank you, my sister.
They can't pay on. Me tell you. Sometimes if you go on a market, when you look on phone and tablet, that whole face it up on there. And then when it time when you don't come. Even since night, somebody called me and said, our time. So then tune in and the program now start. I said, hold on, man, you need to get stop come. In a market house, you know, a market house.
Yes.
So the message has spread.
All right.
People are sick.
I'm glad for
and
that.
With that, we thank you. And God bless you. And may God keep you.
Yes.
Protect you, cover you and your family. That's not can help you. Thank you. Thank you. And
Yes,
all the diaspora was telling you, chop hands come at the people. All right.
All right. Love you, sister. Bless up yourself.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Come on. It's always a pleasure when Sister P call in. Love her, you know, because she in this business for good governance. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we come to the end of our program tonight. Once again, I want to say big thanks for you to pass through and tune in with Mystic Sensation. Right, Thursday, catch us on the Titan, and of course, Friday, again, Mystic Sensation. All right, bless up yourself. Love you all. All right.
All right. Oh, good night.
Well,